On today's episode of Let's Talk FGO, we're going to give you our first impressions of Lostbelt 4, the very verbose one. And then also we're going to talk to you about the fact that Avalon the Fae, the not verbose one, I can say that one easily, is coming soon. TM. Hello, I am one of your hosts, Omega. With me as always is Lucky, and we are your hosts of Creation and Destruction. And we are here to tell you that there's always money in the banana stand.
Hey, Mr. Tallyman. Tally me banana. I hope everyone is enjoying Fate Grand Order, aka A Difference in Culture. And while we here at Studio Omega like to bring you the latest in FGO-related news and memes, we will be talking about current and future events, both the JP and EM version of the game, so anyone not want a spoiler should eat a banana.
Yeah, so not super spoiler warning. Obviously, we're only like a day, 24 hours-ish, if even, into the Lostbelt 4s, so yeah, I think it's longer than 24. It started technically Wednesday night. But yeah, we both have busy lives and stuff, so we're not super far, but we will give you our first impressions, but you guys don't need to worry if you haven't finished the whole thing in 2 days yet, as some people surely will have. So, it's okay. We won't go too deep. But we will be talking about some early initial stuff. We'll be talking about some servant stuff, because we've got, so you can get that 5-star later. And of course, if you do want to know more about the 5-star that was on that banner, Ganesha, be sure to watch that Wanted, which as usual got oodles and oodles of likes and comments and stuff, but still not a super lot of views. Don't know what's going on there, YouTube. Help a brother out. We'll see if we get this amount of depressed views when we do the next Wanted, which I have to script and shoot, basically this weekend, because times.
Things.
That's how that works. We'll see how that one goes. That one should explode. Considering that roughly a year ago, our most popular Wanted and one of our most popular videos ever was Cock Scotty, so we'll see if the meta can once again catapult us to new heights. Hey everybody, before we get started, I'd like to remind you this episode is brought to you by our patrons like Adam Harp, Aga Comics, Aga Kazima, Eric 10, Blaster G, Carlos, Qua, Ferris, Jeremy Vasquez, Jonathan Sandoval, Kylie 10, Legendary Boss Under, Liam Kessler, Regent Raptor, Rogue Robin, Charbor, Shawnee P, some guy named Bob, Soda Son of our tour, and 723. If you like what you do and want to see more, consider supporting us on Patreon. You get access to episodes early on some other goodies and really helps us out. Thank you for your support, everybody. But okay, so we got the show for you, we got stuff to talk about, all kinds of things, and let's go ahead and jump into our first regular segment. Yes, I will do the audio cue this week. Let's check in with everybody's favorite Kohai. Mash, always look on the bright side. Kiri Light.
Senpai, 起きてください.
That's right, everybody. It is time for Wake the Fuck Up Senpai, our regular segment for Pro Tips. I got a simple one this week. Remember to pace yourself. We got an event right after this. Basically, people have been trying to, Sherlock science the schedule, right? As we do. There's probably enough wiggle room for, maybe a free week-ish with the downloads event that should be inserted between, the Lostbelt 4 and Guda Guda. I think there's enough wiggle room for that to, start somewhere in there. Because obviously, just because our anniversary stuff is probably going to happen, on the weekend of the 3rd and the 4th, doesn't mean that they also can't have a couple days left in the 2 weeks or whatever of Guda Guda 4. But it's going to be pretty packed, and that's, not a real event. So there's going to be a full-blown story release, and then there's going to be a full-blown event all crammed together before the great happening of an anniversary. So, watch out, kids. Take it easy. Pace yourself. Got a lot of work to do. So, let's go ahead and move to Records from the Throne, our regular achievement topic. I don't have one this week. Lucky's got one.
Mine's not that impressive. So, all I did is, I made a single 10 spin. I said we got a fat stack of quartz. I'm just no, the time's alright. I'll do a single, see what I got, and I was pleasantly surprised, but not overly unexpected. I did give me a single William Tell, so I was alright, I got me an old man who I know nothing about right now. Great!
We'll fix that later. Alright, cool. For me, I decided to revive Not All the World's Evil this week.
It lives again.
It's not a big downer, but I did want to bring this up. I did spend my monthly tickets +1, so I had 6. I did not get anything, and I did get trolled by Billy the Kid on the banner, which is just hilarious, because in case you don't get it, Billy is a derivative of William. So that was, ironic funny. But yeah, that's me. Nothing new. But, stuff happens. They're all permanent. We'll see later. We're going to see how many friend points it takes me to get all those new bronzes in about a month. So, we'll see how it shakes out. That is also, by the way, about a month away, in case you didn't know. Because anniversary, it's kind of a big deal. Anyway, let's move into our next regular segment. Oh, here. Well, I have over 1 million FP. I'm sure I have enough. Did you finish your master missions? Sorry, that was a response directed at chat. Because if you're a high-level patron, you can live chat us. But, did you finish your master missions? God, I hope you did. It's pretty simple. Acquire 2 gems, and acquire 4 gems, and then defeat 15 of every class worth of enemies, not servants or bosses. That's broken up into 3 of the usual master missions there. Saber and Rider, Archer Caster, Lancer, Assassin, Berserker, and then defeat 8 servants. You will accomplish this by doing the new story chapter, but also you will accomplish it by doing basically anything. So, really this week, just play FGO, I guess, guys? Please?
Les?
Like, you probably could have completed some of this just doing some of the interludes before the actual Lostbelt dropped. It's not hard, but simple stuff. But then it's time to get into the newsies.
Hey, thumbnail's finished. Bam!
Yay, thumbnail.
Posting
People at
that
home
page.
have obviously seen it already, but,
Banana. Isn't that, I have a joke in my head, and it's living in my head, like, for eternity now.
I hope YouTube doesn't give me any sass about Junico's bare tum.
I think it's, over Junico's belly?
I don't know. Listen, YouTube's weird. Algorithms are weird, Lucky. Have you tried posting images on our Discord? Some people have some trouble with some weird shit. Computers don't understand what sexiness is. Anyway, I'm gonna save the asset.
No, that's rude.
No, what we're really gonna get in trouble for is that William Tell has a cigarette in his mouth. Gasp.
Drugs! Or, as I like to say, drugs.
Yeah, so, let's hit up the newsies there. So, first of all, we're gonna hit some big boy real news from JP really quick.
Yeah.
First of all, Fate Grand Carnival Blu-ray release campaign running from the 1st to the 8th of June. Volume 1 Blu-ray was released on June 2nd. I have seen some skits posted on the internet, but I'll probably wait until if we got a streaming solution or something. Fingers crossed.
I saw the opening, and it looks like it's everything I'm gonna want it to be.
Yeah, I mean, we know that Aniplex is gonna give us FGO anime news on the 3rd of July, so hopefully that'll be... By the way, we've secured streaming for the first volume of Carnival Phantasm, Fate Grand Carnival, please buy the Blu-rays now, kind of a thing. There is a commemorative quest and a CE, and for all the relevant servants who are in this first volume, there's double FP and double suck. I don't know, by the way, if this stacks with another campaign which started around the same time, which also gives double suck, so do certain servants have quadruple suck? Let me know.
A lot of suck.
Speaking of which, by the way, that's the entirety of the Fate Grand Carnival bit. We've got the real news, as entirely predicted by the squad, is Avalon LaFay pre-release campaign running from the 2nd until the 30th of June.
Yeah, that's a long time, honestly.
They want to give you plenty of time to catch up, because here's the deal. You're going to get a lot of stuff, okay? First of all, log in during this period at all if you've cleared Fuyuki for 3 Spirit Stones. If you don't remember what Spirit Stones are, this was introduced in Lostbelt 5.5, I believe. They are a alternative expendable item which you can use to do a 3 seals worth of restarts. So you can basically restart a map on them. They go away after like 30 days, I think, but they're giving you 3 to start with if you just log in and have completed Fuyuki, so that's pretty cool. You can also log in for up to 7 gold apples. There was a social media campaign which has already been fulfilled, and it dropped 60 million QP. A lot of people have appreciated this.
I want it.
We also have some very interesting ones. There's a series of limited master missions, which I think are at least the first set run until like the 16th or something. First of all, one of them is to complete basically story chapters, like complete Final Singularity, then complete the various Lostbelt bits we have so far. You can get 7 more Spirit Stones, so a total of 10 before the new Lostbelt itself drops. And a lot of potential Saint Quartz, because they've said that they're partitioning this out. The first set is worth 12 Saint Quartz, and it's out now. And you have to complete main story quests. I believe it is retroactive. I've been told this by people. Basically, if you have done main story quests like ever, you get the rewards. So, yeah.
Where you go, Burr?
Later stuff will include more like 12 or 13 Saint Quartz, as well as Embers, regular foes, etc. So, basically, this appears to be a whole package to give you Saint Quartz before the banner and give you EXPs and stuff so you can keep the catch-up. To emphasize the catch-up, main story on Part 1 and all Part 2 content up to LB 5.5, quarter AP. Not Epic of Remnant. But everything else, quarter AP. Catch-up.
Catch up.
If you're not caught up, catch-up. But also, half AP on all free quests, period, first clear. This includes Epic of Remnant. So, if you've already caught up on story, do free quests, I guess. And if you're out of those, well, you should do the other thing, because all dailies are available during this time period until the 16th, so from 2 to 16th. And you get that double suck chance I talked about on both servants and CEs. So everybody wants you to level up. There additionally is a very baity banner, but there's a DaVinci Small rerun banner from the 2nd until the 16th.
Powerful.
Yes. The stream, because there's always a stream, is coming. The 11th. The guests are Ayuko Kawasumi, Kengo Kawanishi, who is the voice actor of Pepe, by the way, and Nobunaga Shimazaki, with hosting by Mafia. So that'll be a great stream.
Do you think they're gonna do, the Lostbelt is live right now, or you think they're gonna give it a bit more time?
Oh, let's see. I mean, that's only about 10 days. I mean, that's 10 days worth of pre-release. A lot of this stuff goes until the 16th, but that's like 5 more days after the stream. I expect it's probably gonna drop right then.
That's what I'm feeling.
Because they're giving you plenty of pre-announcement, and they're still giving you like a week after it would drop to catch up anyway, like they usually do with the pre-releases. So yeah, I think it will probably happen right away on the 11th, or like the next day on the 12th or something.
Yeah, so everyone plan accordingly.
Yeah, that'll be a big deal. It's interesting the people they've assembled, but we're gonna get some banner news. Obviously, there are some leaks and pre-leaks and nonsense out there, though I do think that like still like a week-ish or 2 ahead of time may or may not be. I don't know if there was there a big data download with the pre-release campaign that happened just now? I don't know. As is usual, we caution you against believing leaks. I am of the opinion that I neither assert that they are wrong nor assert that they are true. There were some very interesting and semi-believable leaks before Lostbelt 5.2 that turned out to be completely nonsense, entirely wrong. And these current leaks smack of that format. That, and also, I mean, like, I'm not gonna say that this isn't true for FGO, but they've like tried to say leak-wise that some of the characters are named after famous fairies, most of whom aren't characters. Like, they've like. I gotta be real. FGO could. I don't know if FGO is just gonna make a character who's like, I'm Black Dog. Especially because we already saw what the Black Dogs are like. We've seen what they look like. It was in case files. Or, God, it's probably not pronounced Balbanshi, but I don't know my Scottish Gaelic either. So, like, that's a type of being, not an individual person. So I'm like, I don't know if these leaks are true or not. Like I said, FGO could do that. But I feel like there are actual unique characters they could pull names from more. So we'll see. That, and also, like, one of the leaked features was that the OST, the jukebox feature is going to become free, and then they're going to refund you the mats. And I'm like, I'd love that feature. That sounds so much like wishful thinking. Like, I don't know. I'd love it if it's true, but I just don't know. We'll see. Like I said, I'd love it if it was correct. But
honestly, that's one of the things I've always wondered about. Like, I wonder if they would ever just, put in, like, the library of CMs and trailers and all that stuff, because they have the first 2 opening movies.
Yeah, they've got a library of them. And if they did the thing they did with the other video features where it's, like, an optional download. Yes, everybody's like, oh man, all these guys have spears, it's gonna be all Lancers. I don't know about that either. There's a couple. Some people are also saying that Morgan Le Fay's gonna be a Lancer, and I'm like, really?
I mean,
like, hypothetically, it could be something related to Rongo, but I have to actually go back and double check. But somebody said that this was brought up in the Fairy Eyes arc of Case Files, that Rongo burns Faye. I'd have to double check. I know that it was good against them, so I'd wanna see what's the haps. Like, like I said, I do not assert that the leaks are false. I also do not assert that they are true. I don't know. We'll see what happens in about a week. But it does, like, there have already been a couple of Lancers this year and also late last year. It seems like we're doing a lot with Lancers. Please no Delightworks.
Well, if Morgan Le Fay is, like honestly, and I'm going to put this out here because we actually have a precedence, just because, like, I'm assuming that by some happenstance in story or whatever, what people are implying here is that Morgan Le Fay got Rongo Miniad, I'm guessing?
I assume that's the logic the leaks are going for.
Okay. I would like to remind everyone that we have a character right now who has Rongo Miniad and is an assassin.
It's very true. Also, by the way, I would like to reiterate, that means that there would be 4 Rongo NP. Actually, no, because then that'd be 5, right? Because also MH
Yeah.
Twin Miad. So, I mean, not impossible. There's a lot of Excaliburs as well, But, God, we'd really be overselling it. I don't know. Like I said, we'll see. These could be legit leaks, but also, there's always these leaks 1 to 2 weeks before a Lostbelt drops, and most of the time, they're fucking wrong, as cool as they might be. There was also a video released that seemed kind of cool, but I did not watch because it was memories of the first 5 Lostbelts, and I'm like, there's gonna be spoilers in there.
Yeah, I didn't watch it either.
So it seems cool, but watch at your own fucking peril, guys, because it's a deliberate flashback, including the parts we haven't seen yet in America. So maybe.
And isn't it? People say it's narrated by Wodaime.
That's what I heard. Yeah, he was on the thumbnail and stuff too, so I assume so.
Yeah, that sounds cool.
Yeah, so that sounds neat. I can't wait for them to officially subtitle it in 2 years or whatever. That's probably what'll happen. They'll give it to us. It'll just be in when it's the appropriate time.
Mm-hmm. I'm okay with that. It gives me something to look forward to, but,
Yeah, it seems neat. There's always a lot of anticipation before a new Lostbelt comes out. There's a lot of speculation. We'll see what happens. Which we will, by the way, because, like I said, the stream is the 11th Japan time. We record our next show on 11th USA time, so the stream will have already excuse me, I don't know, kind of burpy, sorry. The stream will have already happened by the time we do the next show, so we will have whatever stream info is out there, and we may already have card data if the Lostbelt literally drops right after.
Oh, yeah, so we'll probably have, if I'm knowing streams, we'll probably have the first banner of characters, and then a CM, and probably some previews.
Yes, there will be some kind of summary of the chapter, which may or may not be spoiler, and we might not want to read. Also, by the way, shout out to everybody in our Discord. Everybody has, I believe, been safely contained to any spoiler currently. Good job, everybody. I haven't seen anybody really leaking or posting anything not related to it out in the public. Good job. Doing better than we did with OQ. OQ, we had a little bit of a problem. People keeping it in. Haven't seen any of those problems yet, so hold it in, guys. And do make sure, if you are going to talk about Lostbelt 6 stuff that is spoilers for future Lostbelts, to direct that to our full-blown #spoiler channel segment. Because that's for all spoilers, including JP stuff. The NA spoilers specifically so that people can talk about current or recent... Yeah, no, hold it in. Hold it in. Just suck it up. Hold it in a little bit. Anyway, just, don't go shooting from the hip. It's important.
But let's see here.
But yeah, we will have the stream will definitely include NP pictures and names.
Have you not been on the internet where people just shout whatever comes to hand?
I mean, yeah, like I said, I get what you're saying there, Axe, and you're right. I would prefer not to think of it as something like people need to let it out, but also some people really do treat it like that. It does seem like it's hard to get people to contain. So I'm like, if you gotta let it out, I'd prefer if you would contain it in the appropriate manner. You are correct, Axe. It is true. That does phrase it like they have to let it out, but some people shout, let it all out. Well, yeah, the OQ was confusal of some of the mechanics were deliberately hidden because they were story related, and so on and so forth. But anyway, we'll see all what happens later. We're not here to rehash our OQ discussion and for me to yell at Discord about spoilers. Because people were going a little crazy during the OQ period about what was okay and not okay to say outside of spoiler chat. Haven't seen that problem, like I said, with Lostbelt 4.
Sure.
But yeah, we'll see. To finish my thought before I get interrupted by chat again, if they do a stream, they will definitely show some NP videos, some servant names, presumably a CM. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Case Files Raid was another huge one that was a problem to hold for people to... That was like holding in it. It was like, guys, just wait until the raid drops, then you can say the name. That was another, spooky, scary one that was apparently hard for people. I think the only other bits of news are MISC stuff. Let's see. I feel like there is something...
Oh, you didn't write it down, but you don't want to talk about the NA stream at all?
Oh, well, I was thinking that could be in first impressions, but we can also talk about it now, yeah. We did get 15 Saint Quartz total from that. I probably should have put that note down.
Yeah.
That is technically news. Yeah, we can talk about that. The other thing that I think is NA related is there was a certain game that released on digital that we should at least mention.
We should. So we can go with that. So on Nintendo Switch, today's menu for Emily Family has released digitally. It looks fun and interesting. I have not bought it myself yet because I'm like, do I want it? Do I want it digitally? They said it's only available.
I had that same thought. I haven't bought it yet either. I'm like, it's digital only. Well, I guess there's no rush on it then. I can always just pick it up.
Yeah, so I'm just like, So that's available. That is available. It looks fun. It looks very simple.
There was a demo that was appended to the end of the NA stream.
Yep. Kawasumi-san's 8 are great. Oh.
Yeah, it's out there, finally. Good job.
Yeah, it's out there. We got it. We're there. Buy it and let people know that we want Fate stuff. Heck.
Yes, make sure that because I don't know if they've confirmed. Well, we don't have any hard dates on the extra remake anyway, but I also don't believe they've confirmed if it's going to be international yet. Make sure to buy games so they know they should localize. Localize! And if they maybe at someday make a limited release physical run, that might be cool to pick up, like the physical copy of Hades on the Nintendo Switch I've ordered that will be here soon that I don't have time to play. What? No, it's fine. Everything's fine. I definitely am not trying to play like 5 new games. And there's definitely not an update with DLC to Final Fantasy VII-R coming in like a week. No, everything's fine down here, guys.
Welcome to the summer game blowout.
Yeah.
So...
Not like Steam is constantly trying to get me to buy cheap games either. Nah, it's alright. Everything's fine.
It's fine. No, we're good.
How are you?
I started Days Gone, and I'm like, I really shouldn't have.
We'll talk more about that on What's Up, I'm sure. We're gonna have a fun What's Up this week, because we skipped last week.
Yeah, we did.
But okay, let's talk about the NA stream,
Yeah, let's talk about the NA stream. So, first off, I'm gonna say this. Overall, I really like this stream. I really did. But, Albert, please, if you're listening to this on the, 7% chance that you're listening to this, please, man, check your mic setup. Please. Oh, man.
Albert, you've met Lucky before in person.
You have.
Believe him. Listen. We are way less professional than you. We have a better sound setup. We don't get paid nearly as much as you do to work. You can afford a mic arm and a mic stand, maybe. Then again, I suppose lockdown is getting close to being over, and God knows when this video was shot, because we call it a stream, but it is technically a premiere, right?
Yeah.
So it was pre-recorded, so we don't know. Maybe he's back in the office by now and actually can, sit on a couch, but also still get some real microphones, please.
Yes. But aside from that quibble, I will call it, it was actually a very good stream. Like we said, we had good old Albert, and we had Aoyuki-san and Nobunaga Shimazaki-san being there.
Hosts to bring on the show. Big energy.
Mm-hmm. Also, our MC, I don't know his name, but he's a cool dude. I like him. Yeah, he brought good energy, and he spoke really well.
Yeah, he's usually the guy who MCs for the NA stuff. Also, by the way, spoilers, no Nissan. Very surprised by that. They had Albert do all the main news drops.
Yep. And we actually had a semi JP-like stream. In fact, where we actually have little fact time and quiz shows and stuff. I was like, yeah. But I think my favorite part of the stream is when basically they asked the guests to hey, what MP names are you most curious about being translated to English? And they actually wrote down 3 MPs each, and then Albert explained their mindset and how they translate them. And I was like, I actually found that really, really interesting.
Yeah, the localization/translation talk was super interesting, and I want more of it. I want more of that stuff. That's really unique to us, right?
Yeah, right.
And it's very interesting because it is a question people have. A very funny one was that Aoyuki asked about Mumio Sanazuki, right? About Okita's Noble Phantasm. And Albert was like, you'll be surprised to learn it's just Mumio Sanazuki. But then he explained the logic, and it's actually true. I didn't think about it this way, but it is true. In the US, we don't translate literally the names of martial arts schools and techniques and styles and stuff. No, we use loanwords like judo, like karate. All those words mean something in their source language. We don't translate them. We just take them as loanwords. So it is actually not that uncommon to leave a martial arts technique, which is what Okita is technically doing, as an untranslated proper noun.
Yeah.
As opposed to, was it Nobunaga who asked about Eightfold Blessings?
Yeah. He did all the Tamamos.
Man of culture indeed.
Mm-hmm.
And which, by the way, they explained the multifold meaning between the original name of Summer Tamamos NP, the Polygamous Castration Fist. And you can get all this detail and more. We don't need to like trade over everything. They have a good segment you can go watch because it was a premiere video, so you can double check it.
It's a really good. I like how they're talking about dazzling and feasting feasting in the napping in the dazzling sunshine.
Yes, because that was a like really obscure like proverb, I think, in original Japanese, like about not eating with tigers and stuff or something that they had to translate somehow. But Eightfold was interesting because Albert was kind of like, yeah, we kind of translated it a little literally, but both of the Japanese VAs were like, oh, that sounds so cool in English, because it cuts both ways, by the way. The Weebish translation thing.
Oh yeah, this is why sometimes you have Japanese characters yelling attacks in English, Yeah.
And then they talked a little bit about how like a lot of Sanskrit stuff is left untranslated because it's in Sanskrit terms in both languages, right?
so it kind of has almost this weird, almost non-meaning.
Yeah, it's already pre-foreignized in the Japanese, so it's just like, fuck it, we'll just leave it in Sanskrit.
Yeah.
They also talked about how Shuten's NP is like the longest NP name in the game, I think. Like, it's, if not it's very up there because it's multicolored poison and then the Sanskrit term.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah. No, it was a really neat segment. They talked about a lot of stuff. I hope they continue to do that for future broadcasting stuff.
Yeah, me too.
Like I said, it's really interesting to see. And I know some people have thrown stones about our translators, like, spicing things up. As much as I love Pepe's dialogue, we'll talk about that later, I am sure that some people will be very annoyed. But I'm going to take a rough guess, Lucky, and say that he probably refers to MASH as Mash-chan.
Yeah, totally.
Which is not usually how MASH is referred to, and so you need to throw a little spice on there to actually be there.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, we'll see how that shakes out. But yeah, it's a very interesting subject.
Oh yeah. Other thing I like, something else just I liked how Yuki-san was actually talking about our cosplay culture and how it differs so much from Japan. Because as they explained in the stream, in Japan, it's actually frowned upon to actually be out in your cosplay, outside of the event venue and whatnot.
Which makes total sense if you know anything about Japan.
Yes.
You're being weird outside, how dare you?
How dare! But over here...
yeah,
over here, when there's an event going on, people will literally go to restaurants, ride the bus. They will just live their everyday lives just in costume and get no more than a passing glance than people who probably go like, oh, there must be an event going on.
How quintessentially American, right? Like, I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna go out and eat Denny's in my cosplay. Do you know how many hours it took me to put this on? I'm not taking this off. Fuck you.
I love how you say Denny's because almost every convention I've gone to, there has always been a Denny's within like 2 or 3 blocks.
I expect it's probably part of Denny's marketing plan to because they're open 24 hours to go near convention centers and hotels because you'll catch people at weird times and there's no other fucking place to eat. It's why there are all those weird stories about running into like vampire LARPers in Denny's at midnight. It's because nowhere else is open.
Oh man, I've been one of those vampire LARPers at Denny's at like 2 a.m. It's so true.
Yeah.
But yeah, so no, I think like I said, like apparently both Hayuki and Nobunaga want to, come over and hang out more, do more stuff. They're even talking about maybe doing a road trip, and Albert's all like, oh, we might have to do a US road trip too. And we're like, Albert, don't say that. You're gonna start cashing checks you can't write.
Alternatively, because the first one was a huge success, Albert knows that they're gonna do it again as soon as we can leave our fucking houses.
Probably.
Yeah. I wouldn't be shocked. I believe it was very successful. And like, Aoyuki talked about her experience. She's been over here a couple of times. She said she's been to New York before, for instance. So yeah, it was a good little segment. We did have a little quiz, like Lucky talked about. There was some other stuff where they told people to draw on the whiteboard. I don't know if she just gave up or if she did it for fun, but at one point on a question, Aoyuki just drew Karna.
It was great. It was actually pretty good. I was like, wow. I'm still laughing about Nobunaga's failed attempt to write the a Noble Phantasm name because I don't remember the term he used, but it's basically where you just use a kanji that sounds like it is, and the kanji he used was T. So he just kept going T really loudly. I'm like, this is great.
That said, much like Rumi Okubo, Nobunaga is firmly emplaced in the Scotty firmly sandwiched, we should say, in the Scotty conspiracy.
Well, I think it's partly because he voices it.
Well, no, yeah, no. Like, I even talked about this because we were waiting on some people to show up to film the Progression Tournament out now. Please watch. I yell a lot in it. I'm suffering. I've ordered anti-anxiety beads on account of all the suffering I do with tiny cardboard squares. Anyway,
Jesus.
no. But we were just chilling, waiting for people to show up, so we watched the video together, and I just said, honestly, like, I'm not really that bothered because he plays Edmond Dantes, like you said, and for a long time, Dantes was not considered to be cool, even though, I mean, like I said before, people are smooth brand. Dantes is a freaking AoE. Jalter is a single target. They do different things, guys. But yeah, like, so he's just fucking happy that Dantes is, like, meta. Like, everybody's talking about Dantes, that was his first role in FGO, and now he's playing the freaking male protagonist, you know? So, like, I'm sure to him it's a great success to, like, build the system. Plus, he gets to joke about being sandwiched between two Scotties.
Was it his first role? I thought, wouldn't Arjuna be his first role?
Was Arjuna technically first? I don't think he was it?
Yeah, no, because Arjuna came out...
Wasn't Prison Tower before then?
No, because,
I know it was a Christmas, but wasn't Prison Tower... Was first
Yeah,
New
he
Year's?
was...
Okay.
Yeah. Because Prison Tower would have been later that
actually,
year.
wait, yeah. What I'm thinking about is Arjuna was technically first, but he wasn't actually permanent until America, which was later.
Oh, that makes sense.
Because remember, in our first year of FGO, we had this really weird thing where characters like Tamamo and Karna were on limited banners and then became permanent later. Where did that fucking mechanic go, guys?
Actually, that's something I've been wondering about myself, because I do know other gacha games will do, like, temporary limited to permanent, but FGO doesn't seem to do that at all anymore.
Honestly, it's probably because they have more money and staff. They can just introduce units when they come out for the most part, and the ones they can't, they aren't introducing because they aren't ready. Like, no more does FGO be like, oh shit, we have the assets for Tamamo now, but she doesn't come up in the story until later. As opposed to what happens now, which is like, shit, we don't have our assets ready for Sitanai because she's not a fight in this story. We'll release her later when she's finished, kind of a thing. I assume that's kind of why they've changed how that works. Because indeed, you will in fact usually now see characters in story first way ahead of time before they get implemented if they're not implemented right away. Though that might also be because FGO writing got way longer. I don't know.
Maybe.
Like, it could be that back in the old days, they knew many months ahead of time and they had Tamamo prepped before London came out. For instance, Kentoki has been in the game file since day one. He just wasn't on a banner, so... He
was so random to just randomly fight in the fucking,
It's because they didn't have any other gold berserkers for you to fight, really.
They didn't.
I mean, yeah, it's an interesting thing. Well, special daily characters, like, on New Year's and stuff, like with Yang or whatever. I mean, regular Hokusai's never been story relevant. She just showed up for her trial quest. The summer of her is important to an upcoming event, but that's slightly different, you know? There are still some event servants who are just, like, out there. Remember when they used to release new servants on download banners? Like trial quests? I don't know. I just think that they've gotten into such an interesting state with, like, where their, like, content tentpoles are about releasing new units. We just live in a different economy. The game's been going for nearly 6 years.
Wild.
Yes, I do believe that is a point that was raised. Somebody brought up in chat that Yang's trial quest is just a literal test quest. There's no actual story stuff, which is unusual. It's not unheard of, but it is a little exotic. That said, that's this New Year's, so God knows how slammed up they are. That's immediately after Lostbelt 5.1, and then they got to work on 5.2. Whatever. I'm just busy, guys. Anyway, the stream/premiere was super good. Do more stuff. Yeah. But also, Albert, please, for the love of God, I know you bought a nice headset so you could hear everybody better, but, Microphone. I don't even give a shit that you're on a crappy green screen. Everybody's on a crappy green screen these days. But okay, I think that's all the news. Yeah, we talked about JP stuff, we talked about the NA stuff, we mentioned cooking. I think that's everything in there. I think it's time to step into the mailbag.
Alright, well, I think we can do a full mailbag, because I don't know if our first impressions are necessarily going to last that...
No, we're not very far. We'll make them last longer than we think we will, but they're not going to be that long, and we only have... So you didn't get that 5-star after, so yeah. We also have a very small mailbag to this week.
Small. People busy with that Lostbelt, as you should be. But, with that, we're going to start probably the longest segment that we ever do. Thanks, me. Came up with this. Now you suffer. That's right, it's time for Let's Talk FGO Mailbag, the segment where we read what you send in and comment accordingly. Is that we have? Well, actually, I'll do one last refresh. I know some people like to get the last ones in. Yeah, guess what? Yep, I went from 24 to 25. Some of you people are procrastinators. You really are.
I don't think they're procrastinators. I think it's a game of chicken with the recording the show. Literally, those people are almost always, I'm gonna out them kind of. Literally, these people are almost always patrons who know when we make the call for pregame, and they like to sneak them in. Like, I think a couple of people might just be late, but yeah.
Next time I might not just refer. I might just like open it up before I go to work and just leave it and come back. I was like, oh, there was like 5 more questions. No, there weren't.
How was I supposed to know?
But let's get started. So our first one comes from Seeker of Casino King Bun Bun, who says, sending more weekly well wishes. I'm starting this off great, y'all. Let me just take a sip of my humble soda here. Yeah, but no, thank you. I hope you are doing well as well, and I hope your rolls went good. Well, blessings upon ye. But we move on. So, this next one comes from Spirit of Chaos, really wishing his 2 foreigners had more NP levels. Cyrus21. We always want our servers to have more NP levels. We really do. But they say, hey guys, hope things are going better for Lucky and his transportation issues. Or not. Anyways, I have a question this week. Has FGO gotten you more interested in certain stories and settings? Thanks to... Damn it, Soda! Thanks to OSP and FGO, Reed Sanzing and her event. Personally, I wish I could find more about Journey to the West. Anyways, good luck with Lostbelt 4 rolls in the event later. So the quick answer to your question is yes. FGO has absolutely sent me down rabbit holes of research and lore reading. Thanks
Original
to
sources are wild.
Yeah, no, thanks to these past 4 years at FGO, I've learned more about history than I think in the rest of the 30-something years of my life. And I love it.
We should be teaching FGO in schools.
Honestly, it's not the worst idea.
Well, yeah, gamification is important. It gets most people.
Yeah. Like I said, because, let's see, we're mature enough to know that, all this is based on fiction, but we understand that it's based in, I say quote-unquote fact. Yeah. Because it's myth, but, it's based on,
historical characters.
Yeah,
that reminded me, we had an interesting conversation. I don't know what spurned it, but somebody was talking about how they felt like it was, how Columbus was treated by FGO was so weird, and I'm like, it's not really that weird. They're Japanese. They don't have any of the cultural context, aka bullshit, to obscure that Columbus was kind of a bad dude, and people at the time thought it.
Let me tell you, I think we said it was from the mid 2000s on, we really did start the unobfuscating. But when I growing up in public school, no man, Columbus was great, y'all. He discovered America, y'all.
And sail the ocean blue in 1492 or whatever the rhyme goes. Literal rhyme taught to children. Yeah,
I can understand why people I can understand why first off I thought he was pretty cool, and then I actually understand him oh no, he kind of sucked, but it kind of balances out, and I'm just nah, he was a dude.
He was but a man.
Yeah. So when I see him in FGO, I'm all that makes sense, but I'm not gonna fucking condemn him to hell. He was a man of his times, just kind of an idiot and an asshole.
But yeah, no, absolutely same as Lucky. I've been ooh, what's this source material from? And I learn lots of things, and it makes me anticipate things in FGO and whatnot. For instance, I'm still waiting for IFA, because come on, seriously, FGO, Skahak has a literal evil twin. How have you not done this already? Come on,
I need more Skahak
Scotty first. How did you not do that? It seems super easy. But if you wanna find out more about Journey to the West, just buy Journey to the West. Yes, I know it's fucking long, but you can get collected versions.
Yeah, you can get a bridge version. You can get professionally abridged versions, not YouTube series abridged version. Although that could be fucking hilarious.
Well, yeah, but also the actual source material is so fucking long that Red's not done abridging it in OSP style. So
I think, and she has
she's working on the next part.
It's good. You should watch it.
It's a good series. You should check it out. Mm-hmm. Hell, if we want to right now, because we're in freedom time, I was going to throw this out later, but I can also throw this out. If you like FGO and like history, which you probably do, you giant nerd, as of today we're recording, OSP just released another Misk Myths video on Medea by Red, so you should go watch that in case you're ever concerned about the quote-unquote true myths. Also, don't be. Because because I'll punch you, and then Red will punch you. This is a pet peeve that I've really picked up from watching OSP about how annoyed Red gets about people talking about source myths and shit, and it's just like, you're right, that does bother me. Spoilers, most of the context of the quote-unquote original myths you're looking for was made up by people at later dates to justify their own socio-political angles.
Yeah.
Like, if you think the gods were really mean to Medusa, one, that's not true for FGO, but also, Ovid made that up later. In fact, a lot of stuff Ovid made up later, probably because he was butthurt at Augustus. Anyway.
Just remember, no matter how old it is, most myths are just fucking fan fiction, you know?
But yes, you can figure out sources and stuff, and you should check out that video, because it's a great watch, and it will inform you about a character. And it will inform you that, no, it is not FGO's original take that Jason is kind of a dingus.
Alright, but we will move on. So, thank you very much for that. We move on to a master who gives Wu piggyback rides while she makes cute yandere noises. I don't think Wu's a yandere. She's closer to a tsundere, but that's my take. Hey there, Lucky. Hope your scooter problems are close to being solved if they're not already. I do appreciate that people are concerned about me and my scooter.
I mean, we had to delay the show and do a special thing because you nearly died hoofing on foot, and I'm not shocked.
They go on to say, no hard feelings for my comment last week. I think a little sass makes life more enjoyable. Does it, though? In any case, I'm very happy that I upgraded, my upgraded MP5 Wu. And I wanted to ask, what's your favorite MP5 servant you use if you have one? Stay sassy, my friends. Okay, so first off, I'm gonna go qualifier. Do you know how much I roll on this game? Do you know how fucking weird my luck is?
Yeah, Lucky's famous for having the level 1 NP5 Artoria for the longest time.
Yeah. I literally only leveled her so I can get rid of that meme. Damn you, JDV9000. I want to roll for more combat, but I couldn't. I got one.
Oh well, here we are. We'll have later chances. There'll be main interludes and reruns and other nonsense. Anyway, gosh, I don't even know, who do I have? I guess my favorite. Are we gonna discount welfares immediately? Because if not, all of them, any welfare. Welfares are good. I mean, I shouldn't be surprised. All of you people who are making me feel bad have blue names, so you're whales. It's literally in your title, but the people out there saying shit in my Discord chat. Anyway, my probable favorite is a tie between my two ones who I got to NP5. The first is who weren't welfares. When the situation calls for it, I use a lot of Liz and I use a lot of classic Emiya, both of whom are now NP5. My least favorite NP8 is Theno, but luckily I haven't been cursed by that one in excess lately.
So you might think this is a cheap answer, but it's not. Mine's a Tamamo. Literally with, her just popping her MP like so often, it's just like 2,000 health. Here you go. 2,000. Everybody. You get health. Especially because I put, I can't remember which one it is, but I gave Tamamo the command code that will just double healing. Was it 1.5? Anyway, that increases healing on her, so she's just all like, I don't die. So I'm like, no, this is
cool, guys.
But following that, also not a big surprise, is actually my Atomic Hat. MP5 level 100. Like I said, she's not, the most efficient berserker out there, but when I need her to, she goes burr.
And she can even go burr in multiple succession now that they fixed her last skill.
Yeah. But honestly, I have way too many MP5s, Jesus. Oh. But I think we have answered that, so we shall move on. Thank you very much.
Yidge.
This next one comes from Killian King in Question Jail. No questions today, only apologies for spoiling your mood last week with my question. Apology accepted. I'm not gonna lie though, I totally forgot what I was pissed off about though. It's been a week.
But the internet remembers.
The internet remembers. The internet never forgets. So, thank you very much. We move on. The next one comes from a man who impatiently waits a space goddess and her cheerleader. I don't know why, but I think I am slightly excited for Calamity Jane. I definitely know I'm excited for Space Star. I don't know why. I don't know, maybe it's just because I want more American. Ooh. So, they say, hey, Lucky to Make it. Hope you're doing well and prepared for a summer gotcha hell with LB4, 2 summer events, anniversary, and much more. Question, do you think we'll get a Moon Cancer or Adventure Artoria and FGO?
No fucking clue.
Excuse me.
I can't. I'm not a mind reader. I don't know what's going on over there. We've gotten
Well-
an extra class already, but we could get more. Like we've got Foreigner and stuff.
Like honestly, like we got Foreigner and we got Ruler. I don't think Avengers off the table. Moon Cancer though, I think is a little bit more.
But if you do an Avenger and a Ruler, like you need to complete the triangle.
Oh well, like I said, if they do an Avenger, I'll believe there might be a Moon Cancer. But until there's an Avenger, meh.
It's a very open-ended question, okay, kids? It's very wacky and wild.
Design is wild. But we have answered that, so we're gonna move on. Thank you very much. This next one comes from Fool, the best Arcana Force. I'm assuming this is a Yu-Gi-Oh reference, considering who this is from.
Yes.
Because you got
Also, definitely not name dropped at that stream we did this week. Anyway, the question.
Question. Hey guys, I had a random thought while prepping for LB4. All this time I assumed that the scenario that Giotia was trying to avoid was the Lostbelt and the Foreign Gods. But what if it's actually deeper? What if this whole LB thing is another attempt to avoid the grand ban-in that Giotia was scared of? Sorry for the least comprehensive question I've ever asked, but I got the brain word and I thought I'd like to hear your guys' thoughts on the matter. Let me see here. So let me look over this real quick. Let me try and avoid was the Lostbelt and the Foreign God. Actually, if it went deeper, blah 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 blah.
This question is in severe need of Professor Lucky's red pen.
Maybe I will. So I think I got the gist of it. And if that's the case, then Gaitia literally did a self-fulfilling prophecy. In my opinion, I should say. Because I don't know what had happened if he hadn't done his plan. But I do know that because of the actions that he did in taking this plan kind of put us on this path.
That part I don't know. Like, it's actually highly suggested that Gaitia was like, hey, my clairvoyance doesn't see past this point, something fucked up's gonna happen, I'm gonna remake the world, because he's yelling at us about it in the Lostbelt trailer. Now that you have killed me, you fools, you will see, everything will suck, goodbye! I'm like, alright, thanks, dude.
But then again, it could be a self-fulfilling prophecy. Well, because he did the thing, he set off a chain reaction that led us to this thing.
What chain reaction? Walk me through the steps. I'm genuinely curious. This isn't like, you're wrong. It's
okay.
Like, okay, when you're mine, what's got here?
Okay, so like this all started like, okay, let me. Bleh. So in the prologue, events happen that basically kick off this whole event, right? For example, a bomb is set off in a command room that injures all the masters, including Team A. Therefore, this puts all of Team A in the critical condition near death, which puts them in a state for the alien god to contact them and say, hey, Wodime, my dude, do this thing for me, and I'll remake the world. Now, I can't say whether or not this, would have happened regardless one way or another, but because of Gaetia's plan and, acting as Lev Levner dubbed all the things who blew up the bomb, and then, which then, incapacitates the cryptors, which put them in contact with the alien god. If any of those steps in the middle have had happened, the cryptors never would reach the fucking, alien god. If you want to go even further back, remember that Solomon, for some unknown reason, inexplicably known to him, just sent his 10th ring into the fucking future, where a certain dude picked it up so he can summon him into a Holy Grail war.
I mean, I'm pretty sure he sent the ring forward just to show that he could, but I don't remember exactly. I believe the context was that he was just being like, hey, I can do whatever I want, I'm super cool.
No, if I remember, because I watched the thing he says he doesn't know the reason why he did it, he just assumed it was another whim of God.
Okay, alright.
And so,
God told him to.
Yeah, basically. Which, I forgot the point I was going with that now. But like I said, there's a really weird, odd sets of circumstances and coincidences in here that fall into place in which, if, God, man, I really wish I was better at explaining things. That I don't necessarily think that all of this is necessarily. Oh, what's the way I want to put this? I'm sorry, guys. Like I have what I want to say in my head, but actually trying to find a proper way to say it.
I know I kind of put you on the spot, but I did actually want you to talk out this thought process to the people.
Yeah. Anyway, but like I said, we are in a weird chain of events where a lot of things could not have happened if something previously had not happened. If Solomon had not sent the ring forward, Maresbury would not have found it. If Maresbury had not found the ring, he would not have been able to find Chaldea. If Chaldea had not been founded, well, hecking,
Well, I mean, okay, this year I want to say, I would not necessarily conflate Solomon and Gaetia, right? Like, Solomon's plans were basically him, it turns out, setting up to stop Gaetia from doing the thing later.
Yeah.
But it is kind of a similar, this chain of continuity you're talking about, right?
Yeah, no, like, I'm sorry I'm not, like, putting it, but, like, and, you know, and because, you know, excuse me, you know, because then now, because, the ring was sent forward, Gaetia was never able to get the final ring, which means, you know, his plan, you know, wasn't absolutely perfect. Then, you know, you fast forward with Chaldea and, you know, like, you know, Romani being Romani, you know, running into this weird-ass, fucking weak-ass Master Kid, which by the choice of them, you know, being there and late, you know, they missed the whole thing in the command room. And then from there, you know, that's where we talk about, you know, the cryptors, getting blown the heck up, being the alien god and whatnot. And then, you know, all of part 1, and then we go into part 2. So, this is why I say it might have been kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy of Gaetia might have saw this end and moved to try to avoid it, but in trying to avoid it, caused it to happen. I guess is what I'm trying to get at ultimately.
Yeah. I would say my personal thoughts on the matter, you brought up, like, talking about chain of coincidence and stuff. I think the way it's framed is it could be self-fulfilling, but also it could not be, because technically, based on what Gaetia wanted to do, none of that stuff would have happened. It's just, if not, Solomon had not himself set up the pre-plan to the plan and foiled him, you know. Gaetia shows up and is like, hello, I'm going to incinerate humanity, and then Romani walks in the room, beans him with the ring, and says, ha, I threw that shit before I walked in the room.
So, like I said, like...
It's kind of an interesting back and forth. I think the implication of some of the prologue stuff, which we did not actually get this Lostbelt, by the way. We didn't get an update on our Area 51 stuff this time.
Oh, we did.
I think based on the implications of that story, though, that something would have happened regardless, because that was happening way the fuck away from us without any further. Yeah, Starlight brought it up. Like, that almost assuredly would still have happened. I don't know if the world would actually have been bleached. I think that is something we will see as we get further into the Lostbelts. Possibly by the time we get to 5, right? And actually confront Wodaime, because I don't know if we necessarily know a lot about the timeline and how events worked from their perspective yet, right? And no spoilers in chat.
No spoilers.
So I think it's interesting to see kind of what go back and forth. Also, no, don't worry about that, Loth. We're not going to go full spoilers. We're not very far ourselves.
So I think our best thing we can do here is we were like, let us wait and see.
Yeah. And I think Axe actually brought up a good question earlier. It could also be that some of this is because they did have to, like, figure out how to line up the part 1 plot with the eventual part 2 plot. Like, we don't know how far in advance they planned this rating wise.
True.
So we don't necessarily know if this was intended to dovetail as much as it does. So, like, I kind of feel like Gaetia was trying to save us from a bad end was kind of tacked on. Like, when we first do part 1, before we get, like, the Lostbelt trailer, it seems like Gaetia's plan was just to do the beast thing, and he was like, no, I'm going to destroy humanity and create a newer, better humanity, because humanity sucks, and man, isn't death and pain awful, guys? Like, it ties in perfectly with the meta text of the work of, like, oh, well, it's gonna end in this date anyway, kind of a thing, for him to have been like, oh, well, that's why I picked that year and that time, because I had to finish it before it got all fucked up. But he doesn't necessarily allude very strongly to, like, nah, but you guys are fucked if I'm gone, bye. He's just, like, when we win, he doesn't try to get a last laugh, he's just like, I'm dying, but I still want to punch you, so, from hell's heart I stab at thee, and then we just boop his snoot, and he's like, curses, I am undone!
Put him up!
And then he goes,
Like I said, there's a couple ways you can approach this idea, but we don't have any.
This is the beauty of writing, is the open to interpretation.
Yep. So I'm not gonna say I'm like 100% right, but I'm also not gonna say I'm 100% wrong either. But that's what I feel, and Omega has what you feels, and you all have what you feel, and they're all fucking valid. Be valid. You're all valid. I will validate all of you.
That is technically what Death of the Author is supposed to be about. Some people take Death of the Author very differently, but that's the original context of ignoring authorial intent. It's basically, everybody has an equally valid reading of the text. Not even the author himself has a more valid reading of the text than the reader.
Yeah. Well, I mean, until Nasu, like, actually, like, puts it in game. Like, what he necessarily says in interviews and whatnot, I won't necessarily...
We've bitched about authorial intent before.
Yeah. When you put it in actually the source, I'll believe it.
Gilgamesh is the strongest and his armor is the bestest. Well, putting that in a source material. Stop saying that in magazine interviews. Just because you want to reassure the otaku that Gil's still the coolest doesn't mean that Gil's actually the coolest, Nasu. Just because otaku don't take writing classes. That's how it feels sometimes. I feel like Nasu does the reassurance thing because he's like, no, I said in the original Fate Stay Night that Gilgamesh was the strongest. I don't know, this is a weird, tangent wildly. This is a weird thing about Japanese, like, otaku and fandom culture. No, Axe, why would you qualify it? That's nothing. I just think they don't bother. I actually don't know how much of a craze there is for critical analysis of works in Japan, by the way. I don't actually know. That doesn't seem like it's a super high priority. In the West, we have a huge, like, eyeball on critical thinking, so much so that I think literally every college class I took had, like, an outline about how it teaches critical thinking in it, because it's such a weird culture watchword. But, like, I don't know what it is, but I do feel like there's some kind of, like, otaku culture thing that Nasu feels like he has to, like, assuage the fears of the fans and be like, no, Gil's still the coolest. I didn't lie to you when I said he wasn't the coolest. Whereas here in the States, like, read a comic book or watch a cartoon or something and just be like, nah, I just fucking lied to you, nerds. I made that shit up. Like, it's like, speaking of Death of the Author stuff, like, think about, like, Harry Potter type writing and stuff that turned out to be true and not true later, and just be like, nah, some of that shit just wasn't written yet, you know? Same with video game writing. It's just like, nah, I, made that up. It was a lie.
It's all a lie!
So, yeah. This is a great SpongeBob comic somebody has posted about, Gilgamesh claiming to still be the strongest, but also showing off our Judah Altar's stats, which are bonkers. And Gil's like, I am the strongest. I'm still the best.
So, with that, I think we'll move on. Yes, we have thoughts and feelers. Yes, we have feelers. We have thoughts and feelings here at Studio Mega. But, you have thoughts and feelings too, and we recognize this. But we're gonna move on. So, thank you very much. This next one comes from Mailbag-kun, who says, questions. If you could change one of the daily login rewards, which one would you change? P.S. This is my first mailbag entry ever. I hope Lucky will go easy on me. Be glad I don't have a red pen. I will destroy you. I see lack of punctuation, excessive spaces.
Yeah, there's a double space, and I don't know if that was alias Mailbag-kun or if this person meant to say, alas, double space, Mailbag-kun. I don't know. This is why punctuation is important, guys. Honestly, I think Axe brought it up. The single ember one is probably the weak saucest one. Can we upgrade that at least to be 1 5-star ember?
No, can we just get 1 quartz a day? Just every day. 1 quartz a day. That'd make me happy.
I mean, yeah, it would. I don't know that. That's... Considering the rate of rewards, that 7 quartz in a week seems slightly excessive.
How's it? That's not even a 10 spin a month. Well, maybe it is. Like, it is a single 10 spin a month. What am I talking about?
I mean, I'm just talking about, like, the rewards for events, like, 10 is usually a good for a little thing, and a lot of big events are like, and here's a whole free 10 spin. The proportion of quartzing is very interesting.
But, like, honestly, I can live without the embers. Like, honestly, it's like, I get, like, 1, I'm just like, cool.
It's so sad. It's so sad with 1 ember. They should definitely at least be... Guys, you invented 5-star embers. Do more of them, please.
Yeah.
Maybe this anniversary we'll get something. We'll get a refresh. Because they do, like, they added, like, the whole thing where you can get a faux print a week. And I know that it takes you fucking forever to apply all of them, because they're per card and whatnot. But it's just, they do enhance these little things. They did completely overhaul how daily quests give you MP eventually, right? So, hopefully we'll get a little bit of a weekly bonus.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, no, I think honestly a monthly pass style quartz every day would probably do a lot better.
Oh, that's true.
Like, just something for a few bucks and, like, you get login quartz in addition. That was a thing that was piloted by Gacha Games later, but they could totally add that plan, and fuck it, I'd do it. I'd do it. $5 a month.
Do it.
For, like, 30 Saint quartz extra? Like, an extra 10 spin a month? That'd be fine. Daily pass would be okay. And you could throw in even the extra thing, like, maybe when you buy it right away every month, you get, like, either some mana prisms or some rare prisms. What was that? Did I say rare prism?
Rare prism?
Yeah, that'd be fine. But yes.
Oh, that's a good idea. So...
Yes, it's Embers. The FP is okay. The Embers is...
So, with that, though, we're gonna move on. So, thank you very much. We move on. This next one comes from Dave Lawrence Agus Slanier. Is this Gaelic? What's Gaelic? Dave, why you do this to me? Slanair. Anyway, they say, who do you think the strongest the writer? You can't see me, I just looked at the camera.
Red pen? We're gonna need fucking Professor Tyranny with his glasses and his red pen soon, at this rate.
Who do you think the strongest the writer is, lore-wise? I feel like most classes have some clear candidates, but nobody really stood out for me for writers.
You're wrong, it's Ketz. It's absolutely Ketz. Do you know how she does that thing where she blows up the Black Sea in Babylonia? It's Ketz. She can summon the sun.
She become a comet. She can
extinct the dinosaurs. It's Ketz.
Again, I'll remind everybody, in the anime, the second time she does her MPE, I mean, that's the Yucatan extinction event.
When she combines her multi-tiered NPs, she does the Zuquatl impact and is like, she's trying to extinct Tiamat like the dinosaurs. And it almost works. Pretty big deal. Anyway, yeah, no, it's like
it's Ketz.
Nobody stood out to me. It's fucking Ketz, guys. Like we can make an argument because Ivan is a Lostbelt king and he's fucking weird. He's like super swole, but like no, normally I think out of all of the writers in FGO, it's Ketz.
I have nothing to do. Like no, I agree, man. I just. You gotta remember, Quetzalcoatl is a really high-ranked divine spirit who's very, very old and very, very powerful.
She has a lot of A-rank skills and EX rank skills and noble phantasms. She's very top tier.
Ugh.
I don't know if we put her in our original Who Could Punch Gil, but I'm fairly certain that if Gil didn't realize he was in a wrestling match, she could boop his snoot pretty fast.
This is a solid gif.
No, this is a very good gif.
Honestly, I might just have to go watch Babylonia again.
Some good shit.
This is
some high-level animation. Makes me feel good about Solomon. Anyway.
Mm-hmm. So, we move on. Thank you very much. This next one comes from that guy, whose hopes... I don't know why hope...
apostrophe S.
It's capitalized and it has apostrophe. I'm confused. To pull a spaceship star. I can't word. But they say, hello, Lucky and Omega. My question is about Gray. When she uses her lance and case file, does that count as a noble phantasm? Or does it not because she isn't a servant? Wish you two all the best, and thanks for the content.
No, it is definitely a noble phantasm when she uses the lance. This is always a little unclear, but no, the actual items are the noble phantasms, just that to qualify as a servant, you have to have something that crystallizes as a noble phantasm. But no, the items are also noble phantasms, so Rungo Miniad is a noble phantasm, even when Gray is using it. Technically, you can talk about how when it's in like scythe form and Ad is like containing it, that's just a mystic code, but the real deal is the actual NP.
Isn't it like the original translation of like Sacred Treasure or something like that?
Yes, the literal translation in Japanese of the actual text characters is like treasure. Hogu.
And if I also remember correctly, I also do believe that Bazette has a noble phantasm, right? Or is it just something noble phantasm?
Bazette owns a noble phantasm, the Fragorok.
Yeah.
She is one of the few humans who is still alive and still has access to a noble phantasm. So yeah, no, you can totally be an alive human and have an NP.
Yeah. Oh, that's pretty clear, cut and dry. So thank you very much. We're gonna move on. This next one comes from Alpha and Omega. Hey, Lucky and Omega, hope you're having a great day. My question is, do you think they should add 5-star EXPs to the NP shop? Because lately I need to farm embers.
Yes. Oh my god. Yes. I bought all my monthly MPs and I poured them all into my like half-leveled Prince of Landling, and he's not even at Final Ascension yet. Yes, please, give me more. Give me more 5-star XPs, please. They're so good. I need more. Anyway, that's my thoughts. Honestly, guys, spoilers. If your question is, should they use 5-star EXPs for X? Yes. The answer is yes.
So, thank you very much. We move on. The next one comes from King of Apples, who remembers when the Type Moon wiki was still bad literal translations. Oof. Man, we have grown in life. But to say, question, where do you think the reasons Where do you think the reason for the Dead Apostles servants dichotomy will be explained first? Tsukihime 2? Tsukihime 2?
I guess they mean the remake? Yeah.
I guess. FGO or Strange Fake?
Okay, so technically, it's already been explained. Nasu is explained in, like, appendixes and information books about the two different universes, Tsukihime versus Fate World Lines. Where do you think they're gonna probably, like, take another crack and clarify at it? I would expect, based on this release schedule, Tsukihime's remake will probably explain it again first. And honestly, I would expect they probably do have to explain something about why the Counterforce can't just blow up problems in Tsukihime remake, because Fate is super popular right now. I wouldn't be shocked if we have to have that explanation somewhere so people get it. But Strange Fake doesn't publish very fast, and I don't know if FGO will touch on Dead Apostle Ancestors or Dead Apostles again after that time that we did that thing with that one.
I don't know. I know this is like a left field, but I'm a little sus of some of these cryptors.
I mean, let's be real. All the cryptors have the sus vibes.
Yeah, so like if one of them suddenly is all like, yeah, no, I'm a super fucking vampire, I'm not gonna be that surprised.
Hello, I am one of the 12 Dead Apostle Ancestors who don't exist in your timeline. Fuck you. Fight me.
I mean,
Tyson, what the fuck is this guy talking about? She's like, I don't fucking know. I'm not that kind of vampire. I'm a fairy. Also, by the way, yes, spoilers. There's a lot of writer mobs, so I am absolutely taking Python everywhere with me in this Lostbelt.
I've been taking Kama, actually.
I mean, Kama's good. I've used her a few times as well, but she's a little bit overkill for all these baby wolves.
Well, I just like to I like to imagine it. Well, actually, no. Actually, I should just field them both. I will probably drag the two most unwilling assassins here. They'll both be screaming, "I don't want to go to India!"
Kohai, why must I fight wolves and evil crocodiles? Well, you're NP3 and you're 10-10-8, so I don't know, you're pretty cool. Why, yes, my Python is 10-10-8. I will get those last two stakes someday. Then we can begin the grails. Yosh, anyway. Yosh, who's next?
So, we shall move on. Thank you very much. This next one comes from Sensual is Love, Sensual is Life, who says, "Ahoy! Hope you guys are well. How would you feel about doing a weekly servant analysis? I like hearing people talk about what makes a servant tick, and I think everyone has a slightly different take on a servant. Well, they say slight different take, but I auto-corrected. I'm like Google. Anyway, thanks for your hard work."
Honestly, like, weekly servant analysis? I don't think so. Cause we do servant analysis. We just either do them as separate videos or we do them when servants are either brand new or when they come back around on banners. Like today, for instance, we will do So You Didn't Get That 5-star, and I will talk about, at least upon William Tal and Lakshmi Bai.
Oh, hang on 1 second.
Okay, hang on 1 second. So I will continue my thought. So yeah, I don't necessarily know if we need to do a constant rotation. We did originally try to do some servant spotlights in the way back. We talked about, I think, Mash and Artoria before we realized that there were too many servants and we stopped.
Yeah.
There's over 300 now, so it's a lot. I think just approaching them as they come out is fine. What do you think, Lucky?
I mean, we do say that, but we did basically only do like basically 3 stars and up, and so we haven't really touched necessarily on the bronzes. Like, what's your plan for when we hit anniversary and we get all the new bronzes necessarily?
Oh, I don't know what that will be called, but it will be a fun time because I have to talk about 7 servants.
Yeah. So, like, we don't necessarily.
I do think technically we did talk about Hans as well.
At some point, I believe we did. Probably.
I mean, we could, if people are interested, let us know in the comments below. We could, like, go back and do a tour of low rarity servants, you know, because we have not definitely talked about the full plethora of low rarity supports.
Or here's an alternative. Maybe when we're doing, like, you know, you're doing pre-games, because this is something I noticed that you don't really necessarily do. We could actually do recommendations for low rarity servant recommendations and why they'd be a good choice.
I guess, like, for events, usually we talk about bonus servants.
Yeah, and
what they're good for. So,
and maybe in like some of those bonus servants, we can like, and actually, you know, this one is like very good for reasons why. Because like I said, Like, Omega, I'm saying this right now. I'm not casting any shade on you, but like I said, when you do pre-games, it's usually very, here's the things, but you don't necessarily go into the strategy and whatnot. It's just like,
yeah. I could be honest. I don't. Guys, if you listen to pre-games, you gotta shout it out in the comments, because literally every time I talk to a human person, they talk about mechanics and they're like, oh, I don't remember that. Oh, I didn't listen to that show yet. I didn't watch that. I'm like, guys, I feel like I'm doing a lot of work for literally no one. So, like, if you listen to pre-game, let me know. Because, like, that's the thing, Lucky. You say, like, I don't go into detail, and I'm like, no, you're right. I do usually skim, because I know that some people are not keen on the naked spoilers or whatever, and like I said, people I feel like the people I'm talking to aren't listening to me, so, like, if you do want more detail, you gotta let me know, because, like, I'm already feeling kind of frustrated with some parts of the audience.
Yeah, because, like, this is what, because I do know that people do, like, event guides, like, full-on event guides, and people, like, servant breakdowns and whatnot, but it's like, do you people necessarily want that here?
Because I could absolutely add probably another, like, page and a half page of notes, on, like, good talk about who's good for what. Because I said, I try and track down all this stuff. Now, for Lostbelts, tracking down every single gimmick is hard. That's why last time's pregame was a little narrow, because it's like, guys, you're gonna have to deal with a lot of bullshit. Just, you know what you're doing, okay?
Yeah. And, again, and the other thing about this is then this makes overlap, because I know that many of you, big FGO players, you'll go watch other people who will do that same content. Like, shout out to motherfucking Fino,
Yeah. Constantly doing those short, quick servant guides and stuff.
Yeah, so, like,
I know that, Chaldea Gurus, for instance, they are constantly doing streams and other videos on, like, what's coming up this month as a standalone thing.
Yeah, I know. So, like I'm definitely not saying we're kind of, like, gonna try and steal their thunder or step on their toes, but, they have that particular slice and their way of doing things, people like it. Like, I don't know if you guys necessarily actually want that, from us. Again, this is why Omega's constantly, like, tell us your thoughts and feelings.
Yes, if you guys don't like, if literally everybody tells me in the comments, oh, I don't even listen to pregame, I'm like, okay, cool. I mean, I think those are usually our best show. Oh, technically our best watched and longest shows are the shows where we post-game stuff. But, like, yeah, we could, and if you guys are interested in different stuff, like, I've done this with Wanted before. Like, I didn't used to talk about, like, team comps and CE selection and Wanted, but people were like, hey, can you talk about that? And I'm like, yeah, sure. Same with adding, like, skill and ascension mats. Like, those are on the graphic now, and I do actually have notes for them in my script. So, like, your feedback is important. We could absolutely do deeper dives. I still don't know if it would be necessarily like what this question from Senchoi's Love, Senchoi's Life said, where we do weekly servant analysis, but we could definitely start doing some more of that strategic shit in the bigger pregame segments, because I'm already sitting down to write a lot of notes, guys. So yeah, let us know.
Actually, I will put a note to maybe make a community post about that later. Because that's one of those things, like, maybe some people, like, when they listen to it, they don't necessarily think about it or think about comment. Maybe if there was, like, a note later, and maybe a poll, reach out to the audience. You maybe yell at some people. But, that's for the future. And now we are in the present. And the present says, move on to the next question. So thank you very much. We move on. They say, Moon is, at last, free of the finals arc. Wait, what's that? Oh shit, it's an internship filler. No!
Hey, internship can be a main arc. It really depends on your story structure.
I mean, fucking...
That was a huge arc in My Hero.
I was literally about to mention that. It's like...
You paused for a second like you were searching for the name.
I was. Listen, I haven't actually watched My Hero that in a hot minute, even though I know there's a new season out.
Yeah, I haven't. I think I'm like 3 or 4 episodes behind on the current season. I'm sorry. It's cool, but it's not, like, deep cutting to introduce all these secondary characters again. I'm sorry, okay? I got other shit to do.
Anyway, they say... Question, hey there, Lucky and Omega, hope this week has been better for you. What are your expectations for JP summer male costumes? I got my fingers crossed for Hawaiian shirt Ku and baby Arthur. I love to see Summer, Bedivere, and Tristan, but it seems like a pipe dream at this point. Listen, just give me my fucking Camelot Summer Boys. I will say that.
Yeah, you already have the sprites. Just do them already, please.
Just do it. Also, give me Summer Blackbeard. I know that's technically only his final ascension, but it was really fitting during Summer 3. It really was. Any other summer males that I particularly want? Well, we already got Prince of Landling. Summer Rama, I guess. What other summer males do I want? Summer Ozzy. I mean, yeah, we already got Summer Guild. Where's our Summer Aussie?
Yeah, I know. There's a lot of stuff there.
There's a lot of stuff. Like, honestly, again, like...
I'm definitely, like, still on the whatchamacallit, the Camelot thing. But Blackbeard with Parrot is also very important to me.
Yes. But we shall leave it there.
Audience at home, leave your suggestions in the comments below also.
Just talk to us, please.
Listen, engagement is cool, guys.
It is. But we're going to move on, so thank you very much. The next one comes from 418, who says, Hello, Ocean Man Omega and Art Maker Lucky. Why are you Ocean Man?
This is almost assuredly a Yu-Gi-Oh thing. That was my deck this week, was ocean related.
That's
and also, I don't know if this goes on camera or not, but I will sing out the first bars of Ocean Man at any opportunity. Anyway.
They say, hope you all have a great weekend and good roll. Same to you, my dude. But we're going to move on. This next one comes from Master Running Out of String for his conspiracy board. Mood. In Proto Arthur's Interlude, he specifically name drops that Beast 6 is an entity that he's been hunting. Mm-hmm. Back in his trial quest, he also makes refer to an L and R. Mm-hmm. Taken together, it seems that Beast 6, is another split beast similar to 3.
Yes.
Do you think that a B6 will be summonable as part? Do you think that B6 will be summonable as part of a couple of story events like 3 was? We do have 2 characters who are known for their connections to B6 that will presumably qualify as vessels. Do I want to say this next bit? Yeah, sure, why not?
We've mentioned it before on air.
Yeah, Monica from Prototype and Nero specifically as a writer in her Mother Harlot aspect, the later of whom has already in the data mine. Mother Harlot is in the data mine.
Yeah, Mother Harlot's in the data mine. She's one of the, 5 characters who aren't in yet, along with, 2 versions of Perseus, Prototype Gil, and the remaining Sakura 5.
Yeah.
Is it actually 5?
So,
No, I think that might be 6. Anyway.
Well, so, first off, I'm gonna say, I don't, from what I know of Prototype, I don't think necessarily Monica will be one of the halves of the beast, considering she is the one trying to raise it, I guess is the best way to say it.
Yeah, she is attempting to summon it. She has been chosen by it. I don't know. I'm a little, I haven't actually, because they're not officially released, I haven't sat down and read fragments of Prototype, fragments of Blue and Silver. So I don't necessarily know how that's supposed to end there, but yeah. Stuff happens.
So, stuff happens. So, but, yes, I can also definitely see Nero possibly being one half of it, honestly, that's what a lot of people have been theorizing and crafting, and, I don't necessarily have any evidence against it.
No, we know that Mother Harlot is in the data mine. I want to say that her name is only listed as Mother Harlot. There's no hard confirm it is Nero. That said, it has been first of all, it's always been a long-standing joke or reference, ever since I think CCC, that all of the extra heroines have a potential to be very, very bad. Kiara is called an evil of humanity. Tamamo is Tamamo, and we meet golden-faced white-furred fox. She's she's huge for one thing.
Yeah!
And also, Altera's whole thing in Extella. So obviously, to keep drawing the parallels of the heroines, Nero has to have some kind of payoff here that makes her as big a tier. And it is mentioned that if she were to be summoned as a writer and Mother Harlot is datamined as a writer, something bad would happen. Because, remember that the classical Nero was syncretized as the Antichrist in the way back because of reasons, which are, in retrospect, slightly overblown, considering that history went on for another 1,000 years, 2,000 years, however long time. But yeah, so there are a lot of syncretism aspects. There's a lot of very clear imagery about the Beast of Revelation and Mother Harlot and so on. And we know that 6 is canonically the Beast of Revelation, or at least part of it is. So it all kinds of adds up. That's kind of why I was just muttering yes as you listed out some of these first questions, because the first half of your question, yes, no, we've all, due to the things you have mentioned, these are all confirmed hard facts.
Yes.
The second half, will they be summonable? Don't fucking know. Mother Harlot could just be in here as an NPC only one. We still don't have a summonable Tiamat, and we still don't have a summonable Gadia. And they're in the list,
Well, but to be fair, the only beasts that we do have are a split one.
Yes. And they were beasts that, because they were split, never really achieved full power.
Yeah.
That may be also another reason why. As noted, why certain characters are and are not summonable. Though, I don't even know what I wanted to... Listen, there's some memes about certain supporting characters for Lostbelts that happened as a result of the video.
Listen...
I believe...
Wait, which video?
there's some screen grabs in the flashback video that are not spoiler related, but some people have been talking about Zeus's package.
I've seen that too.
Okay, my thoughts are very confusing. I don't think this is a spoiler if it is, but I'm also fairly certain 4 Lostbelts in, Wodame has said he's best pals with Zeus, hasn't he? I think that's happened.
Probably.
I think that happened in English. It's hard to tell. I'm pretty sure he's brought it up. Because we have seen Canis a couple of times crossing the sea and all that stuff, so, like, y'all know what's up with his Atlantean Lostbelt. There's some stuff there. So, yeah, no. Some people are memeing that maybe these characters are going to appear, and Zeus's package and stuff, and we will not necessarily go any further than that yet, because we'll see what happens.
Like I said, if I understand, if I'm not gonna actually voice my shot because spoilers and whatnot, but we might get something about this in the next Lostbelt. There's things happening, y'all.
And I think the thing to remember is that because of the nature of Lostbelts, our connection to various weird characters get weirder.
Yeah.
Like Hawk Scotty is, while very much diminished, she is still technically a full-blown goddess, right?
Mm-hmm.
Your boy Qin Wang, his Saint Graph is as heavy as a Grand Servant, even though he is not technically one of the 7 Grands. Like, shit's weird, okay? So, there's a lot of open-ended questions, and I could see that we could have them summonable, but it really depends on the context of their events, If they show up in main story, I would actually say at this rate, no. Because neither of the 2 beasts we fought in main story have showed up. It was all the ones who were in side events. We'll just have to see how they handled Beast 6. We're getting up there. I still don't think we've... And remember, if I don't think there's been anything, but if there is, no spoilers. I don't think we've had any hints or any confirmation as to Beast 5 yet, so leave it open-ended. Or technically, if they're supposed to be in order, we don't know if we've gotten, like, a replacement Beast 4 either. Just because we dealt with the original Beast 4 doesn't mean that we actually dealt with Beast 4. It's a little weird how time works.
Oh, also in the context of Lostbelt, weird shit could fucking happen.
Yeah. Like, we preemptively defeated the Beast 4 that was Primate Murder, but does that mean that somebody else can't be Beast 4? Because there are like Grand candidates, there are Beast candidates. So we'll just see how that shakes out, and remember, no spoilers.
No spoilers.
I'm watching you. I'm shaking my eye at you. So, yeah. Any further thoughts about the data mine stuff and the beasts?
I don't know. Like I said, from the opening, from the FGO opening 3, there's some interesting grabs there that I do believe, like I said, this might be touched upon in some capacity in Lostbelt 6. So
we'll see.
We'll see, because it'll be the place, honestly. So we'll find out. We will find out indeed.
All right, let's load some more.
But we will move on now.
Okay, we got a few.
How many? Oh, okay. So. This next one comes from Ayas, the one who congratulates, who says, "Woohoo! Congrats to all my fellow instant death memers. Lucked out on our Arjuna ID trigger of his MP on a Shadow Raiko when I was doing a solo run earlier. Oh, instant death trigger. Okay, I was like, ID trigger? What? I'm dumb. Considering how packed this month is going to be with LB4 and Gouda final, do you think they'll try to sneak in the download campaign during the second week of Elbor, or just leave it for after the Annie? P.S. I call shenanigans on the gotcha giving me a Rainbow Orb Assassin card during the raid up of both Assassin Lee and Osakabe Hibe, and instead giving me MP3 Jack. That is wild.
Gee, last one who congratulates. Delightworks lets you have 2 Rainbow Orbs? It's been a long time since I've seen Rainbow Orbs, guys.
Sincerely, I asked the one who congratulates. I
didn't know if we were going to read that last part.
I did.
Yeah, so, as for the question of will they shake it out or not, it's very unclear. So, we can be reasonably certain, let me pull up my calendar right now, we can be reasonably certain that anniversary stuff will happen the weekend of the 3rd and the 4th, right? Because we know there's an Aniplex event scheduled, that's usually when that stuff happens. So, we started the night of the 2nd, technically, with Lostbelt-ish, with maintenance and stuff. We should assume that our Arjuna Altars banner will start the 9th, and that can go for, 2-ish weeks. They won't, too many banners, but we do have a couple of our pre-release banners ending, the 12th or 13th, right? So,
right.
We could easily have them basically overlap that event with the back half, because once the pre-release campaign banner ends, there's no campaign to the Lostbelt banners. It's just banners, right?
Yeah,
there's no time-sensitive shit.
Yeah, like, that's the interesting thing about, like, story chapters. While we kind of consider them as events, they're not actually events. They're just, things happening.
So I could easily see, like, after the pre-release and the interlude banner have ended, they just start, like, on the 13th or whatever, and give us basically the break week or half a break week or whatever to do the download campaign, and then we go into 2 weeks of Guda Guda. Like I said earlier in the show, talking about pacing yourself, they could start like the 16th or 17th straight up on Guda Guda 3 and then end like on the 1st. Or they could have a couple days left of overlap. They could start it like the next week and then not have it end until like the 7th, but that's fine because usually people aren't... Once again, because it's an anniversary, other than some memorial quests, there's no events to that either, right? It's just bonus campaigns and summon banners. So they could give you like 3 days left to finish the event. And while it was our first anniversary for reasons, on our first anniversary, it was a very close back end to that second Camelot summon banner and the actual anniversary. It was tight. So there's a lot of ways they could handle it. I'm truly not sure. I will say that the download campaign is probably not very time sensitive, so they could easily delay it, but there is also still plenty of time for them to get it out of the way. Ooh, my AC just kicked on. I'm cold.
Brr.
Yeah, anyway. Lucky, any further thoughts on that one?
I personally don't think they're going to try and move it around that much. I think they'll just tuck it in right in there and call it good.
Not even... What download is this one even supposed to be? I don't even know anymore. I'm like, so much stuff is happening.
But it's time to move on. So thank you very much. We move on to a master surfing through chlorides. What? Yo, Lucky Omega, how are you guys doing this fine evening? So I was working, I had a thought. Do you believe Ritsuka Fujimaru can qualify as a heroic spirit by the end of Lostbelt? And if so, what class do you think they would fill, and why is it... Thanks, guys, and stay frosty. Okay, so first off, you clearly do not understand what a saver is. So, saver is not someone who just goes around... It's not saving, like save the world. If that was the case, literally most of the fucking heroic spirits on the Throne of Heroes would be savers. God. No, savior is something that's much more like a messiah figure. Someone who has led people, brought them knowledge, truth, all that good stuff. That's why, only like the two canonical savers are the Big J and Buddha. Fucking... No. Literally, honestly, yes, Ritsuka Fujimaru could totally be a heroic spirit in his own right, but he'd probably just be a fucking caster.
Yeah.
He's just a simple mage who's really good at, establishing summoning bonds. Shit, his noble phantasm would probably be this fucking case. Bonk. There's the animation for you. I'm just gonna run up and hit you with this briefcase.
Also, by the way, the login campaign is 17 million downloads in JP, and it's not really that spectacular. Get some mana prisms. Get some extra mana prism shop. Summon Hero Bride.
Yeah. But, yeah, no.
We'll get
Saber...
half AP Embers, I think, is the most good thing. Which I hope, like I said, I hope they give us the dead week to actually do the half AP Embers, but it's wild.
Please. But, no, so... No, it's not Saber. Would just be caster. It's super simple.
Yeah, no, I don't think it would be Saber. Saber is explicitly the messianic type, and our only known example is the spoilers final boss of Extra, the Buddha, and that's our only hard and fast. There are suggestions. There are a couple of figures like you mentioned, the Big J, who would probably qualify, and there is an ongoing reference that if Kiara could ever get her gosh darn act together, she could be a saver. But also, that's kind of the joke. She can't.
So, with that though, we move on. So the next one comes from Sakura Fan 07, who says, "Hey, Lucky Omega, hope you guys are doing alright, and I hope you get your scooter fixed soon. Lucky, thank you. I hope so too. I think I actually might have to buy a whole new wheel, because I don't think gluing the fucking rubber together and filling it up with air is quite gonna work anymore." But they say, question, what is your favorite Lostbelt map theme? Right now, I love LB3's map theme. LB4's first map theme is cool. Looking forward to Guda 4 pregame. I think it's weird. I just see Guda and I automatically go Guda. Stay well. Hope life and Gacha don't throw much more BS at you guys. You guys are awesome, and don't let anyone else tell you otherwise. Hey, Omega, you're not awesome. What you
Fuck
gonna do about
you.
it?
Hold on, let me go across the room and put on my aviator sunglasses.
I don't have aviators. I have those blue light. I have blue
some
light
cheapo. I have some LA aviators. I bought them on the cheap in Chinatown in LA because I lost my sunglasses on a vacay and needed replacements because it was Los Angeles. Otherwise, I would die.
I have those blue light reducing glasses, but I don't actually have any shades. I should actually wear them. These things are doing nothing for me because I'm not actually wearing them. This is how I get eye strain. Let me put these on.
So for map themes, I don't know. The couple I've heard from LB4 seem pretty cool.
It's yellow. Everything's yellow now.
Yeah, you've taken away all the blue light. It would be just as if you put on some yellow gunner glasses. Otherwise, yeah, I don't know.
Oh yeah, unfortunately, I'm
Actually,
not trying...
no. I know the one I want. I think it's the second stage LB2 map theme, the one that's like really depressing and apocalyptic. That was pretty sick. Like when it gets real source.
Unfortunately,
I should go back to my music player and double check them.
Yeah, I couldn't tell y'all guys. I'm sorry. I can't actually remember the map themes. I know a lot of the map themes are good and I like them when I hear them. But if you ask me to remember my bestest one, I'm gonna be like, nope, can't do it. Like, I think the only map theme that I actually consciously remember is the fucking CCC event map theme of da-na, da-da-na, da-da-na, da-da-na. I'm like, yeah, that got stuck in my head. Oh, so I apologize. I feel weird wearing glasses again. I used to wear these all the time. Then I stopped. Should probably just wear them more. Anyway, gonna move on. Well, thank you very much. The next one comes from the Shisho Fate Fanatic. I gotta remember how they say that. Who is eager to hard counter Hot Wheels via Ultimate Shisho. Right on then. Hey, Lucky Omega, got a question for you. With Fujino's EMP buff dealing huge amounts of damage to giant enemies, and Rungomedia being an LB6, is there a possibility that... Sorry, Lucky just did a weird hell tilt there, but I guess it kind of saw it coming with earlier discussions. Is there a possibility that we'll be fighting the reverse side of the world foes? Or am I just overthinking things? May everyone's rules be blessed.
Okay. My friend.
Yep.
My fanatic friend. The Lostbelt is literally called Fairy Knights of the Round, or Fairy Land of the Round Table, Avalon Lefay. Avalon being the magical fairy island, okay? Yes, there'll be reverse enemies. You will be fighting phantasmal creatures, as you do every week. Some of them may be giants. There are actually quite a lot of giants in Arthurian mythology.
I do want to point out, yes, Avalon is supposed to in Fateverse, Avalon is supposed to exist on the reverse side of the world.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Also, it's supposed to where Maryland's Tower is and where King Arthur is supposed to be sleeping.
Just chilling.
So, just
hanging
chilling.
Out, waiting for the hour of Britain's need. That'd be pretty baller if that's how the Lostbelt ends. I've decided it is the Isles of Britain's hour of need. I have returned.
I can see how that ends. That might be a fucking plot point. We need to go get King Arthur.
The king under the mountain. Very common theme, by the way. Mythological tropes.
But yeah, no. So yeah, no. Expect there might be some Fey mobs, some new Fey mobs. How much you want to bet there's a
trait?
How much you want to bet there's a mob called the Leon Shi? I know that's not technically it, but it's a common enough one.
We'll see what happens with them. I know somebody said that they think, like, the leak says that one of the characters will just be the translation of Black Dog, but also I'm like, but what if they just did Black Dog mobs? Because we know what those look like. They're lightning dogs.
Yeah.
Again, literally watch Case Files. They have, like, a whole 2-episode arc about fairy eyes and fairies. Fairy eyes.
Yeah, watching
you.
Yeah, we usually get a couple mobs, so yeah, I expect like two normal mobs, and probably a new giant mob.
Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked if, like, literally the Jotun mobs get reskinned for this. Like I said, there's a reason why Arthur was so good in Lostbelt 2. It's because there's a fuck ton of giant killing in the Arthurian legends.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what it says about the people in the Nordic Germanic Celts about constantly fighting giant humans. I don't know what that's about, but it's a theme.
Oh, Vikings, you guys were fucked up a little bit.
Then again, there was the Gigantomachy in Greek as well, so maybe it's a Proto-Indo-European thing? Is there a primal fear there, where Neanderthals super tall or something? I should... So, talking about the rabbit hole, this is a rabbit hole I should go in sometime. Why are there so many myths about giants? Is that just, like, one of our primal fears, like us, but bigger?
I would think so. I mean, think about, the White Titan drawings and whatnot. Like, there's just this thing. It's huge. We don't know why. It's just huge. Fuck it. We don't like it.
Also, yeah, by the way, that is a point. The reason why we have Safaras in Fate is there are literal ancient cave paintings. Like, the oldest human art in the world is giant white thing. It's got hands and it's huge. Also, probably people have known that Taurus is a space bull since prehistoric times. There's a lot of bull cave paintings which correlate perfectly to star maps of Taurus. It's freaky.
It's a little weird.
Okay, anyway. I think we've answered this question enough.
Yes. So...
Only a handful more.
Yeah, okay, so here we are.
This may technically exceed the hour of power.
We're fine.
Nah, it's fine. We only got a few.
So, next
I
one...
told Robin that it's unlimited, but will probably only take an hour.
Probably. So, this next one comes from Rakava Main, ready to Fujin and Guilty Gear. Get excited, my dude. But they say, hell, look at Omega. No question this time, just a neat bit of trivia. Lucian Dodge, the voice actor of Waver, did the voiceover for an animated retelling of Little Red Riding Hood, which is still on Newgrounds today. Happy watching and have a good week, lads. I'm not gonna watch it, but I do think that's cool.
Neat.
That is neat.
Full stop. There we go.
Mm-hmm. So we're gonna move on. Thank you very much. The next one comes from The Eternal Storm. They say, hey guys, hope you are both well.
I'm cold.
I'm getting a little cold myself.
I just got a haircut yesterday, so I'm like, my fluff factor is down. I'm cold.
Nah, Lucky's been growing out his hair for like a year. I have a lion's mane if I'm not careful. Question. You have talked about watching OSP videos in previous episodes, and in this video. So I wanted to ask in preparation for Lostbelt 6, what characters from Arthurian legend do you want to be included in FGO? Thank you for your time, stay cool, and wish me luck on my roles next week. Well, good luck on your roles next week. Arthurian legend, unfortunately, I'm not super versed in, on the Matters of Britain. Like, I think it's literally, no. Matters of France is probably my weakest. I know shit about Charlemagne. Matters of Greek, though, I'm pretty good at. But Arthurian legend, well, Omega, you know more than me. I know you said you want Sir Kay, right?
Well, Sir Kay is a recurring character who's been name dropped a couple of times, and I think he'd be cool. So for obvious ones, though, I mean, I have the thing this servant is confirmed to exist and has been summoned before, just not appeared in FGO. But I want to complete the Orkney Rangers, so Gaheris win.
Gaheris, that's right.
Just because, like I said, First of all, we've confirmed that Gaheris exists. This is an actual mythological thing. Sometimes it's just Gareth. Sometimes it's Gareth and Gaheris. Sometimes it's just Gaheris. Like, the two twins are very wiggly in the terms of the canon. So the actual Camelot singularity confirmed that Gaheris is one of the Knights of the Round canonically, and we have seen hide nor hair of him since then. And I think it would just be good to finally fill out all the Orkney siblings.
Personally...
Well, I have one more. I have one more, though, that's a very me thing that hasn't been hinted at all in FGO, but I still want to go for, which is Nimue. Nimue.
I was actually going to say this, too. I want the Lady of the Lake.
Yeah, and technically this is ambiguous. Like, I believe the canonical name Fate uses for Lady of the Lake is Vivian, which is one of the very common names. Sometimes the Lady of the Lake is Nimue. Sometimes Nimue is the servant of the Lady of the Lake. It's very ambiguous, but I want Nimue specifically as Merlin's apprentice, who also is sometimes the one who locks him in the cave. But also sometimes it's Morgan. It's weird.
I mean, honestly, fucking Fate can literally just make them all the same.
Yeah,
they could.
Like I said, other than the fact that I'm pretty sure the pre-materials have said that they are using the Vivian name for the Lady of the Lake, but also. We literally have summoned Pycen, so who is a high-level elemental. Also, the Lady of the Lake's not out of the question. Fuck it. Just...
Yeah.
Guys, I'm really glad that Fate does actually, as much as people complain about the gender flipping and waifuism and whatever, I do actually appreciate that you guys take your time to, like, even out the gender rosters, because otherwise, history is a sausage fest. But there are still some really cool female characters who exist in the mythos. I'd like to see them more. Plus, just imagine Merlin's apprentice, a straight edge, dealing with Merlin all the time. Constantly hitting him. Bonk.
Hits him so hard he got trapped in Avalon. But yeah, no, like, that was gonna be my original one, was Lady of the Lake, but Mega's like, no, give me. I was like, damn it.
Well, like I said, I intended Nimue as not necessarily the Lady of the Lake version, but there's also a lot of crossover, like we said.
There really is. Did
you know sometimes Arthur has, like, 3 sisters?
Yeah, like I remember, like, and some of them got mixed up. I can't remember exactly though. Again, I said
yeah. So Morgana and Morgan are not always the same sister.
Yeah.
Fate conflated the two.
Yeah.
Well, we're pretty sure that, I mean, Castoria definitely has lines about being like, Merlin's here, I should give him a good whoop upon the snoot, but we're also pretty sure that Castor Artoria is an alternate timeline, so now that she's not also cool.
So, any other Arthurian characters that I necessarily want? I can't really think. Oh, I got one. I want. Give me Codval. Give me Arthur's hunting dog. That'd be great. Just give me a Bork.
Hello, I am Doug.
Well, because technically,
hello, this is Dogfort.
Because technically, we do have Lamouret and Dun Stallion, because those are Arthur's two favorite horses, and they're represented in each of Lancer Artorias.
Yeah.
And Codval has been mentioned before, in Shimosa about Alter calling that dog she found just Codval too.
Mm-hmm.
Like, honestly, I would like to see Codval maybe with I think I've mentioned this before, but kind of have like a hunter type Artoria assassin who uses the magic dagger and maybe has a Codval as, maybe like on standby with her or something. Did I say Shinjuku? My bad. I probably said Shimosa, didn't I?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm dumb. Shinjuku, thank you. But yeah. More dogs in FGO, please.
But can you pet the dog? Greatest Twitter in all of the universe.
I like that because Yorha loves crabs so much. Someone made "Is there a crab in this game?" Twitter, and it's hilarious. And it got super popular because Yorha loves it.
Crab.
Alright, but those are thoughts. They have been said, we're gonna move on. So, this next one comes from Clink Clank Spurg. Melvin lies in the pool of his redacted, unable to hold the power that is me. I, Steve, have returned. So, who's Melvin?
He died. I think he died last week.
There's something happening here, and I'm not sure I want to be a part of it.
Oh, I clicked the next line. Just read the next line, it's fine.
Hey, Lucky Mega, do you like the... Yu-Gi-Oh! The Abridged Serving Mini Arc that is my alias. Would you like the saga to continue? No, because I have no idea what's fucking going on! I'm confused!
Yeah.
Oh, that's the guy I killed. You can't expect me to remember every body I've created. Every corpse. It's not evil. It's not easy being evil.
Anyway, this person, in addition to having a really long and complicated alias, has also written us a really long question that has multiple text breaks.
Okay, here we go.
How many breads have you eaten in your life?
None. My question for this week is, which is the most visually breathtaking MP you've seen? A lot of players on NA, myself included, do occasionally take a gander over the JP side to see the MPs of the newer servants, and have fallen in love with Vatra's MP. It's Ghidorah with blue flames of different angles, and I personally find it absolutely stunning. It's probably up there as my top 3 favorite MP animations, including Abigail's and Gil's newest MP. Which animation MP of the newer servants, i.e. ones not in NA, do you find the most visually stunning? It probably has been asked before, but I seem to have missed it, so I hope you don't mind. P.S. Best luck of your rolls for Jinako, Asclepius, and India Super Saiyan Boys if you're rolling for them. I hope you at least get one of MP1 of each servants and the second LB4 banner. PS5. I'm 2,226th on the pre-order list for a new PS5 at my local retailer. Someday, I will have my own.
Don't you worry, buddy. That semiconductor shortage will end eventually. We'll dig up more semiconductors.
Listen, honestly, if we probably go to a sort of horse sorting out some fucking trash heaps, we'll probably find a lot of fucking thrown away electronics that no one really thought to properly recycle.
Well, that too, yes. Also, actually, we should be recycling a lot more shit.
We really should.
So, newer NPs. Well, Loth had a great funny one in chat talking about Mao Nova because she's not out yet. It is also a good NP because it's got a front-facing sprite. Man, I don't even know. Like, there's the gap of 2 years. There's so many friggin' servants who aren't out in NA. You're like asking me to pick between like 40 or 50 of them. It's a lot. Actually, I can literally check what the gap is right now. I don't know if it's that big, but it's. Let's see, servants. Okay, JP is at 308. Ian is at it's 50. We're at 246. Just got added, so it's actually like 60 servants. Yeah. Like I think that like Miss Cranes is like visually stunning as a recent servant who came out. That's pretty cool. But there's a lot of good shit out there. I don't know. Lucky, I think I hear you out there racking your brain. You got any ideas?
I mean, I don't know. Like honestly, again, my memory's shit. I do like Yang Guifei though.
That's pretty good.
Like again, like I'm trying to remember because unfortunately, like I don't spend a lot of time on the JP side. I really don't. I check out the new CMs. I'll watch I'll check out the CMs. I'll watch the streams, and I'll see like the NP like once when they show up.
We see them on stream. Very occasionally, one of us will be like, "Oh yeah, what did that servant's animations look like?" Because we'll see. I do this myself, and also sometimes I see animations in my history which I didn't watch. So I know you've gone back and watched as well. So yeah, but other than that, I don't fucking know. What's time?
So unfortunately, no. But I do know Yang's is crazy because of all that fire.
Yeah, I'm just gonna have to say my old standby is probably Space Star. Space.
Gonna
go space.
I don't want to see him. I don't want to see Doman. He's creepy, and not in the good way. Y'all can all go horny for Doman. I will put him in the same room with Kiara and see what happens.
But y'all, have you seen the coffee stirrer of naked Doman? An excellent joke. Anyway.
So. Thank you very much. We're gonna move on. This next one comes from 253 Crow, who says, "Hello, Omega and Luck with the legs to rival the Master of Chaldeas." I'm not that swole, man. I died. I walked like maybe a mile. I'm like, nope. Thank you for answering my second question about Ishtar Eyes. You guys keep saying at my old job when I was effectively locked in a 150,000 square foot warehouse by myself 3 to 4 nights a week. Honestly, that sounds pretty baller. I would do some. Listen, Lucky's that person that if he can get away with something, he'll fucking do it. So, leaving Lucky alone in places is not the best idea. It's not. I'll do stuff. But they say, thanks for all your hard work on the podcast. No, thank you for listening. We do this for several hours, and I know there are people out there who listen to the entire thing, and you guys are champs. I love you. Mwah.
Every time YouTube gives us the stats at the end of the month, I see how many hours people have watched every month, and I'm floored every time because it's fucking nuts. It's like, days, months worth of hours, if not like years at some, it's crazy.
Mm-hmm,
Y'all are crazy.
Y'all crazy. And I love you for it. Oh.
Well, I mean, no, it's okay. Patrons, you guys pay for the privilege cut into our watch time, and some of you sit with us the whole time, including the no-editing version, unedited, and also the pre- and post shows. So, you're great, guys. Everybody's great.
All right, but again, thank you very much. We're gonna move on. The next one comes from the man who sent part 7, The Good, the Bad, and the Sundari. Wasn't it part 7 last week, too?
No, I think it was part 6.
Was it part 6?
You were debating whether there would be another trilogy.
Oh. But they say, hello, dear Lucky and Omega. Happy week to y'all. Happy week to you, too, my dude. My question is, MASH is classified as a demi instead of a pseudo. Is there a clear difference between the two? I tried reading about it, but the way that the wiki is worded makes my head hurt. Piggybacking on that question, who is your favorite pseudo servant? Mine's Ishtar. Thanks, and arrivederci. What'd you say, Omega?
Well, when they said reading the wiki made my head hurt, I'm like, correct. Okay, so
I know we explained this, but I'm trying to remember how we explained this.
Basically, demi and pseudo servants have a similar result but different methods is the best way to say it. So this is why they are often used interchangeably. The idea is that it's kind of like a form of heroic spirit possession, but it's more that the human just inherits the skills and qualities of them, rather than the merging of abilities where, depending on the unit, the character is, the human half may not be to the forefront. Like, yes, in Ganesh's case, for instance, we'll talk about this later, she talks about how she's mostly in the driver's seat. But for MASH, there's basically no Galahad driver's seat. Like, Galahad wasn't even a conscious presence on her for a long time.
Well, didn't they explain that as the Galahad kind of refused to answer her or something?
Once we get to part 2. In the actual, part 1, he was just, willing to give MASH his power so she didn't die, but also wasn't very talkative.
Yeah. The way that I like to think of this is a pseudo-servant is a blending of two. A demi-servant is a layering. A servant is placed on top of a human.
And their skills are inherited by the human. And by the way, we only have, I'll say 3 canonical, demi-servants, because there is technically a 4th in this table grid, but that's just prototype MASH, so it's the same thing as her, so there's 3. The other 2 being Rin and Rani from Last Encore, where they basically got the data of their 2 servants sandwiched into theirs, so.
Technically, isn't that what kind of the install card is in Prisma?
I don't think it's quite the same as using the install because you can separate from those. Like, that's a very specific form of magecraft, whereas the demi-servant process, like, is not necessarily did that. Like, and all the cases that we've seen of demi-servants are, like, semi-impossibilities. Like, hey, fun fact, by the way, in case you're curious, it's been canonically stated, because this is the analogy they use, that in Type Moon works, you can't be half vampire. No Dampiers. Nazi's like, no.
No.
So, but that's the analogy. Like, that's supposed to be an impossibility. That also demi-servants are supposed to be like that. MASH is the only one in the FGO timeline that exists. So, it seems to be kind of like a weird fundamental process of, like, blending the two that requires, special subjects. Like, technically, you could argue that, like, in Heaven's Feel, when Shiro gets Emiya's arm, he counts as being like a demi-servant because he's using servant abilities he inherited from himself. Sieg is also possibly like that, but he inherits abilities from several forces, and when he literally turns into Siegfried, he's literally becoming Siegfried. It's a dead count shapeshifter kind of thing. It's all very confusing. Honestly, probably the reason why it is so confusing is because FGO has said that being a demi-servant is unique to MASH. It hasn't elaborated on the process at all. So, yeah, I am assuming that it is left open to actually, like, clarify how it is different. Until then, Lucky's explanation is as good as anything else, where it's just, like, as opposed to, like, fusing the two spirits together, it's, like, layering the heroic spirit over the person.
You can't see it, but I did a thumbs up. I was able to explain it concisely. Yay.
Yeah, like I said, that's not the analogy that Fate actually uses, but that's as good as explanation of what the fuck Fate said as anything else. Like I said, reading the Type Moon Wiki will make your head hurt sometimes.
Yeah, be careful. So, thank you very much. We're going to move on to the last one, who comes from Random Villager. And they simply say, why is Daybit? And I say to this, listen. You made people ask, like, why is Daybit? What is Daybit? Who is Daybit? But does everyone ever really ask, how is Daybit? That guy, he must be going through some shit right now. In South America, there's shit going on. He's just like, I'm by my lonesome and I don't care about anybody else. Daybit, does anyone ask, Daybit, how are you doing? Are you okay? Do you want a cookie?
Also, think about it. He's wearing a leather jacket. He's got to take care of it. It's got to be a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
But though now I've pulled up his character design and I'm looking at his shoes and I'm like, wait, is this just like an accent, or does he have like boots that have no sides? I think it's just like a weird color change thing. Guys, look at this. Look at this with your eyes. Hold on.
Oh.
Look at this cutout with your eye beams. Look at his boots. What's going on there?
They could just have. Actually, no, you're right. I think they do look like they're just fucking cut out.
Yeah, they look like they're like low cut at the sides, which completely makes those laces useless. But yeah, it could just be, like I said, like a weird accent thing. Also, I mean, the man's wearing a sweater vest under his leather jacket with a tie
and utility pants.
Yeah, no, he's wearing tactical pants, a black leather coat, a sweater vest, and a blazer with a tie under it.
This man does not know. Listen, this man does not know how to get dressed in the morning. I think, yes, no, how is Daybit? Are you okay? Did you drink coffee?
And he's wearing fucking work boots.
With the sides cut out. Daybit, how are you?
Are you okay? Nobody has to ask us about Scandinavia Peppercino.
No. They are fabulous and fine. I mean, who designed Daybit? That is a good question.
I can go back and check. I think it's got their character designer written down. Here, let's see. Artist. It should, because they're listed, but I gotta double check if it's on the wiki. No, it's not noted down on the wiki page. Everybody has their artists, like, known and written down, but...
Well, it's information for later, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
But with that, we have reached the end of Let's Talk FGO Mailbag for the week of July 4th. Yay! David, go get your cafefe. So with that, we only have a couple things left over. One of being our Lostbelt 4, initial thoughts. Yeah, so, starting off, if there's something I do want to say is, I do appreciate that they soft confirm OQ.
Yeah.
In these opening things. They don't necessarily go out of their way to say who and what, but they do imply heavily that they might be dealing with some things, especially Goldorf. Talking about his weight.
So the Lostbelt 4 begins not with like a soft intro like we've gotten, but with a full-blown last time on. Shout out to them, by the way. I remember the story pretty well, but some people might not, because it's been a while. And at the end of this, because they only summarize Lostbelt 1 and 2, you turn to Sion and are like, what about China and that other stuff that happened? And she's like, it doesn't matter.
It just happened.
But they do name drop Gordolf's big adventure, and later when we meet a certain other character, they talk about him needing to lose weight. So, yes, they very strongly hint that OQ did happen and is relevant, and they don't write out Lostbelt 3. They're just like, it's not really relevant to what's happening right now.
Yeah. But apparently it's been actually 3 months since the events of the China Lostbelt, because things happened and there were delays. But yeah. But here we are. They explain that we need to go to India not necessarily because we need to kick the Lostbelt's butt, which we do, but because there's something that the captain needs there.
Yes. Also, by the way, if you can't figure out who the fucking captain is, read more.
It's
really obvious at this point. The Aranax Phantasm. Oh, man. Anyway, yeah. So, yeah, there's the Aranax device has to go with us because we need to make the Shadow Border seaworthy, is basically the point. Because the 5th Lostbelt is where we're trying to go tactically, because that's where Wodaime is, and it's a big deal. But the Shadow Border, while it can survive a trip in the ocean, as we saw at the end of Lostbelt 2, it is not fully amphibious. It is not ocean-going.
And if we try to make it so, we would need a lot more people, which we don't have.
Yes, we would need more staff and more resources, which is something that they go out of their way to emphasize early, that Chaldea 2 has a manpower problem.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
also, they do make sure to once again remind us that the oceans of Lostbelt 5 are full of ether and full of horrible, gribbly, phantasmal monsters.
Here be dragons.
Literally? I guess we'll find out.
We'll find out. So, with that, we gotta go to India, and, as we're there, we might as well, boop it in the snoot.
Yes.
So, here's something I do find interesting. They talk about this, left and right. So, I do think this was actually a question at some point, but, they actually do flat out say it, that apparently, Da Vinci Small is technically a pseudo-servant.
Yes, and I think that makes sense now that they've said it. The idea is not that she is like a new summon of Da Vinci Original. She is a body that Da Vinci Original created and then basically dubbed all her heroic spirit stuff into.
Yeah.
Also, they reference her roller skates that we won't see until she gets summoned later.
I do like how it actually does make the roller skate sound effects, and you're like, did she just roller skate off? You're just like, what?
Like, you could just be like, where did she get fucking roller skates? Because Da Vinci, by the way, passes out standing up.
Yes. I am concerned.
At first I thought it was actually before the time we had to leave. I was like, you better pick up this child and put her in bed. But it was like, no, Da Vinci, it's time to wake up. And she's like, oh, I guess I was sleep standing. Anyway, bye! Heelys away. Neja drops that she and Da Vinci Small are very similar instances, once again kind of talking about how, the new Da Vinci is a construct, basically. We also get another interesting setup rule. If we're going to do a dive in the Shadow Border, we can only carry 3 servants max out and about, not counting for like Da Vinci in the pod. So we only bring actually, I guess that doesn't count Sherlock as well, because we technically have like 5 on board.
Well, I think they mean like maybe in the Lostbelt for like whatever reason.
There's an energy limitation that they can't compensate for because apparently the Shadow Border is very finicky, right? It's very technical. Yeah. So we're limited to 3 active servants that we can bring with us. Which means because the captain needs to go with us to secure the Aranax device, which is loaded into the Shadow Border, we can only bring Neja and Mash, and we have to summon everybody else on site.
Yeah.
So that gives us our whole big setup and stuff, why we're going here, very clear mission goals. We arrive without too much trouble. We have a little bit of preamble.
Yeah, actually, I found that interesting. It was literally, all right, we're leaving for India. screen wipe. All right, we have arrived in India. I was like, okay, cool. There was literally no fuss.
We're smoothing things out. We've got a process now. It's great. Good job. We have the preamble. We talk about what our goals are. We talk about what people can see. The interesting thing we immediately note that, is good for a first impression is that unlike some of our other Lost Belts, the tree's just fucking there. Thank God for once. Mm-hmm. Also, there's a weird cube thing that nobody can scan. It's there, but it's not there. It's weird. It's a weird thing.
I thought it was actually going to maybe look like a certain moon thing, but it does not look like exactly like a moon thing. So I was like, oh, okay. But we will see.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll see what happens there later. But yes, that's clearly an important thing. And then we do the whole rigmarole. The captain says that, explains that we do have to cut down the tree because of the way Lost Belts work, he can't activate the Aronnax device until we remove the tree and basically reset things because it is geographically linked. So he has to be in India to activate it, but because this is not regular India, it's jammed, basically.
That is something that our servants didn't know because we actually do get our summon on pretty quick, and shocking nobody, we summoned probably one of the two biggest heroes.
Yeah, no, you want to talk about fucking entrances and allies. We do the whole chant and we whistle up a couple of servants who shows up, but Karna and Rama, who are talking about servant tiers, probably some of the highest rated servants you could whistle up in India.
Yeah. Also, real quick, I do want to shout this out. I do remember Karna's personality because, Karna's a good boy, but I forgot how kingly fucking Rama is because I mostly remember him being in a sack in America.
You remember him mostly being very cross.
Yeah. But no, he's a very proud individual. He's like, yes, I'm awesome. I'm a king. Where's my wife?
And then he's like, who is this large man and why is he talking to me so condescendingly? And you're like, don't worry about it, my king. It's no problem. It's no problem at all. And he's like, very well, I shall let this pass once. That said, Rama does have, big, boyish king vibes. He's not, stately or anything. He's like, cool.
Jinako literally calls him a Shota king. They literally use the term Shota. So I'm
Jinako has some great dialogue. We'll talk about that later, because that comes a little bit later. I think the big thing is that the captain says that he has to stay behind to do some pre-prep. He also complained about the fucking cushions. Again, if you know who the captain is, that makes perfect fucking sense.
He was a little anal retentive
into the thing.
Yeah.
Which slightly incenses Da Vinci, because, the great Leonardo da Vinci is not thinking about your pathetic seat cushions.
Also, time and resources.
Yeah.
This thing was literally built on
the... if you look at, Da Vinci's notebooks, that makes sense, though. Leonardo da Vinci was a big picture guy. He was thinking about, shit like tanks and ornithopters. Not necessarily, how will you be comfortable in the ornithopter? No, he was trying to invent a fucking flying machine.
It's like function first, then form.
As seen by the Bastinian. But yeah, so I'm sure that in no way will we have the two constantly being catty as we call back to base. But we set out. We are joined once again by Neja, because by permanent Chaldea Neja. We do note that there's some interesting things about this Lost Belt. While on the one hand, it's very habitable and very pretty, at least when we first get there. Neja, Rama, and Karna all note that there's some kind of weird presence there, which, makes them feel lonely and also depresses their powers, which you see referenced by this very annoying all-card type buff.
Okay, so here's the thing that bugs me about the all-card debuff, is that on my screen, it just shows the quick symbol.
Yes, that confused me for a second. Quick one, but if you look at your card deck, it's all of them. And by the way, kids, this is why none of your servants are hitting as hard as you think they are.
Yeah.
Honestly, so as a mechanic, it's a good way to, do these, lower HP pools and still, prevent you from stomping everything. Like how when you played Salem, your levels were halved.
Yeah.
But also it has definitely been me going, wow, I really thought that my, level 90 Hokusai or my level 90 Raiko should be cleaning up this wave faster. So it hurts a little bit, but it's not a big deal because the enemies are pretty normal,
Yeah, no, I had
a little mechanic.
Yeah, so I haven't had necessarily any problems on that. But we do the usual Lost Belt thing is we find a camp, we walk around, we find people. Oh no, these people are in danger.
One of them is adorable and innocent.
And has a dog.
Bork.
The other one, I just want to slap him. Fuck
PG.
you. And then,
but then we run into the. I love how I know necessarily like why or how they came to this conclusion, but I love that the writers of every Lostbelt know that after we got out of our initial like, oh shit, if we destroy the Lostbelt everybody dies thing, that they have to like right away establish how the Lostbelt is a fucked up place we don't want to stay. Because on the one hand, it's like, man, this place is really pretty. And then, like, 5 minutes in, they're like, oh, yeah, there are these horrible demon crocodiles that eat people, and your only defense is to pray. And we're like, wow, that's pretty fucked up. Something is wrong here.
Mm-hmm.
So we key that off immediately. There are also these weird divine beasts. Then we...
I'm sorry, I'm just thinking hashtag Shishi Wong wasn't wrong.
And then, in classical fashion for us, we immediately get thrown out of town.
Yep.
There's a fat mayor who has his own sprite, and he's like, how dare you kill the sacred beasts and also these demon crocodiles? You are clearly heretics. Get the fuck out of my town. And even though, he's talking to Rama and Karna, we're like, we better leave. Even though, we could boop that man's... Mash could boop that fat man's snoot pretty hard. We don't need any help, but, we don't want to cause no trouble. In the words of Jackie Chan.
Mm-hmm.
So, next step is leave, go to a mountain, because we've heard that there's another god there, because that's the other thing we get introduced to, is the villagers say they only have one god, which is really weird because we're in India, and Hinduism is known for having a fuck ton of gods.
I think they actually say the Hindu like pantheon is like the hugest.
Yes, it's I believe it is one of the largest in the world. So we've heard rumors, because we talk a little bit to the girl overnight. And she talks about the mountain where they say there could have been a god. This is where we get introduced to Ganesha, Jinako, which is an immediate gold mine.
Yes, I love her. I love her dialogue so much. Also, shout out that Karna was so shocked that he actually recognized her for a second.
Yes, and tried to say her name, but as we know, because the summon is fucked, which I explain all this in my wanted video, but this is seen in the dialogue. Ganesha's pseudoing into Jinako is not standard, so it's a little goofed up. She just introduces herself as Ganesha, and her regular name can't be perceived or whatever. But Karna recognizes her, and he's like, this is fine. Everything's fine. And manages to guilt trip her into joining you. I thought for a second there, when they started talking about like dumplings and food, we were gonna like do the classic Gordolf fast one, and he was gonna offer to cook, maybe later.
I do want to note that apparently Ganesha found Jinako through a devilish influence. I'm just all like, baby?
Allegedly. Like, I think Jinako phrased it as, it's possible it was done through a devilish intermediary. This is a thing that's never really cleared up in the text, why Ganesha is a moon cancer. There's a couple of hints that it could have been through BB somehow, but it's not explicitly stated yet.
Well, again, like I said, Ganesha
is not a moon deity.
No, he has a beef with the moon, literally.
No,
like,
yeah.
Fuck you, moon!
Yeah, I talked about this in Wanted as well, but basically, depending on the telling, at one point, Ganesha fell over and the moon laughed at him, and he was like, fuck you, moon! It's literally Piccolo in that one clip from T4 Star. Moon! And then he broke off his tusk and threw it in the moon, and that's why you can see the moon is fucked up from Earth. Also, by the way, don't look at the moon on Ganesha's holiday day. It's bad luck. It's very bad luck.
Well, when's just Ganesha's holiday day? I'll fucking note that.
I don't remember, but it's a major festival. You could probably find it out. But yeah, no, it's bad luck on Ganesha's festival day to look at the moon, otherwise you'll be cursed. So yeah, like I said, there's a lot of explanation for why is moon cancer. But no, there's a lot of good stuff. The dialogue as a statue is great, and then her dialogue coming out of the statue is great. She totally has a fucking switch in there. It's great.
By the way, Ganesha Chaturthi, I can't pronounce it, is Friday, September 10th.
All right, everybody, put that down in your calendars. It's very important.
Very
Look
important.
at the moon. Or you'll be cursed with min rolls, obviously. But yeah, so that's just it's a great character that gets introduced early, which is good because I guess if you're not very far, this is a semi-spoiler, but it happens so soon that it's not really because man, does Neja get warfed hard.
Yeah. Oh my! This actually upset me a little bit.
It was like well, one thing, they spend way too much time being like, man, Neja, you're a great friend. I'm glad you're here. And I'm just like, but like also just yeah, no, damn, it's fast. Neja goes from nobody could match my mobility in the sky to shit, it's me but evil in like 5 seconds
and dies.
and his job's out. And I'm like, wow, damn, that is
it was harsh.
beans.
Very, very harsh. Because like I said, like I've enjoyed because Neja's been here for a while.
Yeah.
Like, and
I mean,
and because
acts that'll obviously be explained later. We're only on section 4. We'll get there.
Yeah. I mean, it's probably because it's Lostbelt fucking servant Neja or something like that.
Keeping in mind that this is explicitly stated that Neja's current body is a construct, so we'll see how it shakes out. But after a pretty tough fight, thank you, Team Tentacle.
I think I just bullied her with Kama. I know that makes no sense, but it worked.
I mean, Zerkers.
Yeah.
I used Team Tentacle, but it got a little dicey because boy howdy, that the reduced damage, and that was a big chunky HP bar. I had to eat an NP, but it was okay. We got through. Also, yes, when I had to fight Ganesha, I was like, hey, Rock, you want to wrestle? As I do in fact own Summer Martha, Samba Cats, Estrella.
Again, our aggressive rulers seem to have a fucking theme here.
And no, there is nothing funnier than seeing Estrella suplex an elephant statue. But also, technically, we mentioned it before, but this is also when we get our first glimpse of Scandinavia Peppercino. Spicy peppers.
I love this man.
Yes, immediately he pops in. You get a perfect first impression. They talk about, being so smug and cool and androgynous, and he's just like, hey, what's up, guys? What's the haps? How you doing, Mashy? You doing okay? Anyway, I gotta run, because there's a scary spear lady after me, like, just bugs the fuck out after Karna catches him.
Mm-hmm.
This kind of gives you the hint that not everything is okay in the state of Lostbelt 4, as the Cryptor is running around in the foothills hiding from people. Gee, I wonder if something has gone horribly wrong with this plan, as has happened literally every Lostbelt.
Yeah, now that I think about it, it's like, yeah, no, every single fucking time, the Lostbelt King is like, nah, I'm not about that life.
Like, the one that worked best was, I would say, Ophelia and Skahak-Skadi.
Yeah, but still...
that still got fucked up because of outside influences, right?
Not even. Skahak-Skadi was like, no, I'm not gonna fuck with thee, I love them. They're great.
Well, Skahak-Skadi was not about getting rid of us, right? But
yeah.
she was still perfectly okay with what Ophelia said about, like, hiding the tree and stuff and growing the Lostbelt. The only thing that fucked up is when Surtur got unsealed. That really shenanigans everything. Lostbelt 1, Kadok was literally trying to replace his Lostbelt King with Anastasia. And in Lostbelt 3, was the whole thing. So many things were wrong with that one. But yeah, so I suspect not everything is going as planned. And I'm beginning to suspect that this will be true of probably literally every Lostbelt. If there's one Lostbelt that's not true of, it may be 5. Just because I would believe that is the standout, that Kadok is Wodaime is the only one who has things under control. Like he's the only one who set up this plan and has it work as planned. But we'll see. Also, I don't know. It could be fucked up in all kinds of new ways. But yeah. So Pepe's wandering around and then immediately skedaddles. But also, you receive some mysterious sus buffs in that next fight.
Oh, that's right. I almost forgot about that.
And they do that very keen camera thing of, like, zooming in on him slightly, like he's still hanging around. But yeah, so, all in all, like, there's a pretty interesting setup. We kind of glossed over it because we're not doing a full summary, but the thing that is mentioned is that the Yugas, which are actually explained, thank God, but the way this Lostbelt is functioning is that the ages of Hindu cycle, because Hinduism is very big on cycles, are super sped up, as opposed to lasting, like, hundreds of years or thousands of years. They're lasting, like, literal days.
It's 4, 3, 2, 1. So...
Yeah, I believe so. It's the cycle of a week. It goes through all 4. So, and as far as I got was, and Lucky got as well, is the Kali Yuga starts, and shit's fucked up. 10 days. Okay, 10 days of world, yeah.
Yep, and at the end of this, everyone fucking dies! And if God likes you, you get to come back.
You get reincarnated. But if you're shown to be impure and not praying hard enough and get eaten by an evil space crocodile, you're dead. Yeah, so shit's fucked up, and I'm sure we're gonna see more fucked up shit once the world resets. Mm-hmm. We'll see how that works, Axe, as well. It seems like it kind of doesn't work because the town gets progressively more and more fucked up. Like,
Well,
when we
that's the
first
thing,
roll into town, it's middling, and Ganesha says that it looked pretty fine when she was there like a day earlier, but then when you come back the second time, the town is really fucked.
Like, if I understand this, like, well, you can understand why this place got pruned, because if this just keeps happening, eventually there's just gonna be no people left.
Yes,
Eventually-
it's gonna reduce humanity to such a state that they can't continue. Even
Yeah.
though what it seems like is very clearly, because, hey, Lucky and I are both past the point where we get Kona Sky as we get Tomovich's little cameo. She's got a new outfit. It's great.
It's great. She seems to be slightly bothered that we know her now.
Mm-hmm. And she says she feels off ever since she was put through Shin Wong's torture chamber. She doesn't phrase it like that, but listen, girl, I understand. If I was attacked with bone saws and dentist tools, I would probably be having a bad day too.
Mm-hmm.
But she does talk about how the god here is a fanatic who's trying to only find virtuous people. So presumably these criteria get more and more strict until nobody is virtuous enough and there's suddenly no more humans. Which is probably why, like we said, this timeline got pruned. So it's interesting to kind of compare this, like, idyllic paradise to this kind of fucked up accelerated backdrop. Yeah, Axe I will admit, Axe is asking a lot of clarifying questions. It's just like, nah, just read. You'll get there later. You'll figure it out. Because we're not very far, but a lot of this early stuff is explained. And like I said, there is literally, I do appreciate this, FGO. I do appreciate that they have a literal moment where Sion is like, okay, everybody, we've talked about Yugas. Do we need a recap? You can say, I do know, but we should recap just to be safe, or you can be like, I don't know. And I think I generally had an idea, but I said I don't know anyway, and they explain them. It's good. It's a great bit of exposition. Axe, you're not good at wisecracks. Noere ipsum. Know thyself. But mechanics-wise, other than, like, the card debuff thing being a little annoying, but not, like, world-ending, right?
Yeah, no, I wouldn't necessarily have. I wouldn't say if I've definitely had a fight that I've had to start over. Like I said, I've been bringing a lot.
It hasn't ruined any fights for me, but it definitely makes you take maybe a couple extra turns, which is okay. We're in Lostbelt 4,
That's fine.
I prefer it to enemies being big chungo chicken soup, like Oniland, for instance.
Yeah.
But we have two systems that are being prevalent. One is brand new, and the other is recently popularized, which this Lostbelt embraces wholeheartedly. The first is the fucking CE on support servants.
Yep.
Oh, holy shit! Thank you so much, FGO. That's just. It's shocking what 50% NP starting and 50% NP gain does for servants who have like 10-10-10 skills in NP4. It's so good. Yeah, no, it makes everything go faster and makes you feel okay actually using story supports.
Mm-hmm.
Especially because a lot of these servants so far have batteries. I appreciate they let us cycle out the order when they gave us that one fight that was all story support, when you had to fight with just your mash and then the 3 story supports. You could move them around. That was cool. The other thing, though, is thank God they invented the system and have embraced it for setting up your team after you know who you're fighting.
Oh, yeah.
Because they have absolutely done this double take thing that FGO usually does, where they're like, oh, it says Berserkers. I wonder what it is. Oh, it's just mobs. Oh, it's Berserkers. I wonder what it is. Oh, shit. It's Mirror Nezha. Shit. This is a boss fight. Fuck.
Nega Nezha.
Yeah, so I am so glad that they have implemented the system and are using it frequently. Like, it's such a good addition that makes it's so much ease of mind,
Gyaru. It is Gyaru now. I think it is tan skin, blonde hair. She is a Gyaru.
Yeah. Skin Wen, by the way. Come on. FGO, even though you've included her in a couple story chapters, you'll know you don't give Nezha enough love. Come on.
No, you really don't. Nezha's really grown on me. I don't know why.
I think it's because despite her, I don't know if you'd call it a speech impediment, but her interesting diction, Nezha has always been straightforward and cool with us. Like, even in Salem, when several other servants were, like, completely out of their gourd, Nezha was like, no, on the ball, focus, do the thing.
I am a rock, period.
And then same with when she actually appeared in the Lostbelt stuff, like, pretty decent context. It's just, that and she's actually got, a pretty normal kit that's pretty decent.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, costume, when? But, yeah, I think that's everything to say for first impressions. Like, you have any other interesting things that stick out to you right away?
No. Like I said, we mentioned Tomomo. It's like, I don't remember anything, but did Tomomo mention that she's going around collecting monsters before?
Well, yeah, no, she explicitly showed some of them off in Lostbelt 3.
That's right. She used them. That's right. Okay.
She is doing a weird collection thing, and she constantly talks in mid-level marketing terms. Yes, this is part of supply and demand too, and I'm like, Tomovich, never change. Maybe
I don't know. She seems to be doing a little change.
Well, yeah, she definitely had some thoughts and feelings about that last Lost Belt situation. And I'm sure, since we didn't actually run into her, we will actually run into her later.
Yeah.
Will we comment this time on the fact that she has a different wardrobe?
So, you know me, so I'm excited for more Tomovich. Again, I said this, but I am a bit upset that Neja jobbed so quickly, I want to say.
Yeah, it was almost like they knew that they had to include Neja in the story for a couple of reasons, but we're like, but we need new characters, so nah.
Yeah, so I think that's the way. I think they just literally wrote her out of the story, just like, all right, let's get rid of her. I'm just like, no, well, I love her.
I mean, they do kind of this, they do this thing of like, hey, you got to get over it, move on,
They literally say that.
Was her death in vain? And we're like, well, I mean, we would have gotten nuked by Neja's tactical spear, which did actually eat a couple of my servants in the actual boss fight. So, it's pretty scary.
I stall stratted a little bit. But like, at the same time, we had, that's right, because, fun fact, apparently, whatever is affecting our, servants isn't affecting Neja, apparently. I think that's what or Nega Neja.
Yeah, so there's clearly some greater mechanics to the system going on that we're going to unravel, because we're not even a quarter of the way through yet.
No, I gotta put it some time, I really do.
Yeah, and not the way I want to stall this show out. We got So You Didn't Get That 5-star, and we got some business to take care of, but
that's right.
We're gonna power through the rest of this and move on, hopefully before it gets too late, because I do gotta edit this all and put it up together.
Yep.
And I mean, the show's not super long, it's only like 2.5 hours. We started a little late, but we're fine. Okay. But I think that's all our first impressions then, so we can move straight on too. So You Didn't Get That 5-star.
Yep. Actually, I'm gonna step away real quick. So you do you.
Alright, I will read the segment while Lucky is away. So, You Didn't Get That 5-star. This is a segment we do as kind of a little nod to talking about servant analysis stuff that we had that big combo about earlier in the mailbag. If you want to know about the 5-star, like I said before, you can watch this perfectly serviceable Wanted Ganesha video. Did get a lot of positive comments, a lot of thumbs up. Not a lot of people were yelling in the comments about that they got their Ganesha after watching the Wanted, so you're going to have to make me doubt my marketing scheme, so, make sure to get in there and leave those comments. But if you want the full deep dive on Ganesha, you go to that video. It already exists, and people watch it. But this day, we will be telling you about 2 other new servants, who, I would like to remind everybody, will be permanent once the banner ends. That's always important to note. You're only permanent once the banner ends. So don't roll story for William Tell or whatever yet. You gotta wait it out. Gotta do the thing. But let us begin with the lower rarity one. Let's talk about William Tell. Our new old man guy. He is a new permanent 3-star archer. Duh. It's William Tell. You should know that already. That's a famous European legend. So most of our audience should know. If you happen to come from one of the not Europe areas, maybe you don't know, but you can look it up. He's very famous.
Oh, if I remember correctly, maybe you don't know the name, but you've heard of the action, at least, probably.
Most people probably are familiar with the folklore of the shooting an apple, yeah.
Yeah.
But also, he's famous in Switzerland originally, and the mythos is everywhere, so I would hope most people are familiar. We should check our demographics, though, and where YouTube says people are watching from.
Mostly the US, last I checked.
Yes. So you should know. So he has middle-of-the-road attack and HP. There's quite a few 3-star archers. He's in the middle somewhere. He has average NP gain with 3s all around, so pretty normal stats. His deck is Quick, Arts, Buster, Buster, so a Saber-style deck. And his NP is a single target Arts, which gives him sure hit for 1 turn, and has bonus damage if the target has an evade buff. It doesn't count like unremovable gimmick evades, but if they have an evade, first of all, he sure hits, so the evade doesn't count, and then he does bonus damage if they have an evade. It's dirt simple. His first skill generates 10 to 30 stars, and has a 50 to 100% chance to skill steal for 1 turn on the enemy target. It's a single enemy. Second skill is a 20 to 30% arts up and debuff immunity for 3 turns. Yes, he gets debuff immunity for 3 turns. That's pretty baller. And his final skill gives him a star weight up. Hold on, I think I wrote that down wrong. Let me double check. I'm fairly certain it's 1 turn, but I wrote it as 3 turns in my notes, and I'm like, wait, that doesn't sound right.
Wait a second.
Let me just double check which version is correct. Yes, it is 1 turn. Okay. I'm like, I thought it was 1 turn. Sometimes you mistype these, and, sometimes I'm writing these just before we start the show, so there's not a lot of chance to go back and reread your own stuff. Anyway, yeah, for 1 turn, his final skill gives him 50 to 100% critical up and a big star weight buff. It's a pretty self-contained package. His passives are Magic Resistance R and Independent Action A. So, Big Boss here is but simple. You point him at the target, it dies. He generates all the stars he needs to crit big. He sucks them to himself, and then he gives himself the things he needs to do all that. And you should give plenty of arts crits to charge his NP for a big punish for anybody dumb enough to evade. I think this is a start of what I like to call FGO's anti-asshole technology. Not only does he have a sure hit guaranteed on his NP, which is, by the way, for the whole turn. It's not just a, remove effect. He does it for the whole turn, so those other 2 cards count. It has bonus damage if they evade. Are you facing a boss or even a mob who evades? Fuck them. They die. Plus, his kit is so plain and simple, but damn is it good. 30 stars max, then a single turn star weight and a 50 to 100% crit up. 20 to 30% arts for 3 turns, so you can arts crit to charge NP and then fire NP and still have the juice. Oh, it's great. It's perfect. There's a reason why he is a very popular 3-star, and I will be rolling the shit for him in that FP Gacha later. Very solid guy. But that unfortunately means that there's not a lot of tech stuff to talk about with him. Let us instead move on to our next subject, Lakshmi Bai, the Jean of India. By the way, this isn't just an artist joke. Literally, this was a biography written about her called her the Jean of India. It's why there are so many jokes. But she is a new SR Saber. She will be permanent, obviously, after we're done. Her attack is high-mid, so in the middle but high. Her HP is low-mid, so in the middle but low. But there are also a decent number of 4-star Sabers, so there's some padding. Now, interestingly enough, her deck is actually Lancer style. It's quick arts buster. And it has some thick NP gain to make up for the fact that her hit counts are pretty low. She has a 2-hit arts card and 3-hit quick cards. She will not be generating a lot of NP on her own very fast. But she has a quick NP, so you already weren't going to bother with that. I see you, Scotty Conspiracy. I will unmask you one day. J'accuse. So her NP is a quick AoE. It's got low hit counts, so don't think about your Lupin memes. It's only 4 hits. But it's got some interesting qualities. It's honestly, while it is a damaging NP, it's more of a defensive move, as it removes enemies' offensive buffs. So if enemies have shit like card type up, attack up, crit up, etc., get rid of them. Move them out of here. And next, it reduces their critical rate for 3 turns based on her overcharge. It starts at 20%. So, honestly, especially considering that, remember that Quick is the highest damage multiplier by default, not a crazy bad NP. Yes, it doesn't synergize with the Quick, super overcharged looping meta, but for enemies who have annoying buffs, pretty cool. So, get ready to be introduced to her other gimmick, though. Her first skill is the usual Charisma package, 10 to 20% attack for 3 turns, and then it involves a 60% chance to raise allies' star generation and critical strength for 3 turns, by the usual 3-turn amounts. It's 30 to 50, I think. Get used to that theme. Yes, she has a random buff skills. Don't worry, she can solve this herself. You just have to level her up. Second skill is a targetable invul for 1 turn, so the invul part is always true, and then a 60% chance to give that ally a 1 to 2k heal per turn, and 1 to 2k damage cut per turn for 3 turns.
2k?
Yes. 1k to 2k damage cut for 3 turns. But remember, 60% chance.
Mm-hmm.
So, obviously they're playing with the fact that because her buffs are chance-based, they can be a little crazier than normal. Her final skill gives herself a 2 to 3k HP guts 1 time 3 turns. It increases all allies' buff success rate by 20 to 40% for 3 turns, but gives her a debuff resistance down as a demerit. So, if you get her to her highest ascension so she gets all 3 skills, and you level her last skill, you can make her apply her chance-related buffs all the time. And also, this works perfectly well if you use her with Ozymandias, or, Prince of Landling, who also has chance-based buffs, and is a Saber. That might be a kit you're more likely to run into. It's a little gimmicky, but if you get her and invest in her, you can get some very powerful buffs off. And obviously, the stuff she does are pretty generic. It's attack up, it's star gen and crit strength up, and then she has a defensive one for invul, hail, and all stuff. Yes, it's a little, because it's a guts, it's a little lengthy. Her passives are she has MRA, She has very high native debuff resist. Riding B, so her quick cards are pretty good. And Core of the Goddess C, so that inherent debuff resist is pretty good. As for why she has Goddess Core C, I think this may be a Lostbelt 4 thing, but also it could just be a reference to the fact that her name Lakshmi Bai contains the name Lakshmi, the goddess of luck.
Is it really? Are you serious?
Yeah, it could be a reference. It's also in her profile. There's a whole thing going on. I believe her profile says that she could instead have Alakshmi, the goddess of bad luck, because her luck stat is E-. Lakshmi Bai has the shittiest luck of any servant, which is pretty funny. But yeah, so basically, her inherent debuff resist is really high, so her demerit doesn't matter that much. Lakshmi is worth it, but she requires skill investment, but as a result is very potent. Use her like you would use Prince Landling, but quick. She has a defensive, offensive NP, a softener up, prevent enemies from freaking out and killing you while you build NP. A very strong defensive skill with her second skill, 1 turn invul and then 1 to 2k healing per turn and 2k damage cut for 3 turns. Baller. And a pretty decent generic charisma. The only thing, like I said, is she requires a lot of skill investment and a lot of slow rolling. But for a 4-star, it's a decently, I think, adventurous kit. But yeah, those are your 2 new 5 stars. Tune in next week, maybe, probably, because the banner will drop for us to talk about Asclepius and Ashwataman. One wheelie boy, as they like to say, because he's got a giant wheel.
Big wheel energy.
So that's it for the main show stuff, but we have a little bit of business. It is a new month. New month, new us. And this means I've put up the new Patreon polls. I put them up right away, in fact, because I was ready to go. And yes, polls multiple. So first of all, yes, Teach Me Omega Sensei has a poll back for at least 1 month. We'll see how people respond. I gotta be honest. Let me double check how many patrons qualify for what, but we've only got like 15 votes. So the current winner is only winning by like 7 votes of people. And I mean, obviously it is locked to our patronage level. So if that's the bulk of everybody, that's okay. But I do want to double check how many people are at what tier, because we do have a lot of people out there. Let's see. Yeah, I have already counted higher than the number of votes, and I haven't even left our top tier. So, I don't know. People don't seem necessarily super enthused, but I would like to remind you the poll exists. If you are a patron or would like to be a patron, 5 and up level, you can vote in the poll. Our topics in question this month are... Oh, let me keep scrolling back. I got a little deep in the patron menus. Our topics this month are: who is Sion? What are the mage families / clans? And what is happening in Fate Prisma? Currently, Prisma is winning by 60%. I guess people are really curious what the fuck is happening in Prisma. So, like I said, we'll see how the poll goes and how much of a response I get out of it, how much the people at home seem enthusiastic about it, but we can do at least one topic this month. We're not busy or anything. Get it out there. The other is Fan Servant Friday is also up for June. Since Avalon the Fae is coming out, guess what my theme was? It was fairies and knights. Good?
No, keep going.
Yeah, so, now, because I technically miscounted my month, Melusine is back again. I don't think she's gonna win, it's not a big deal. But she did return for another one. Don't worry, she's gonna take a break for a while, I'm sure, after this. But our other subjects are Black Knight, Saber, Sir Dagonet, Berserker, and Lenon Shi, Caster. Currently, the Black Knight is winning, but Lenon Shi is the second off. And this has one more vote than our topic poll, so still a lot of contention, a lot of possible voters out there. People at home, go ahead and get out there and vote if you want to change it. If you're curious about Black Knight, somebody actually asked in the comments in the Patreon, what Black Knight? My response was yes. If he wins, you'll find out more. But the subject of the quote-unquote Black Knight is very fun in the Arthurian mythology. Also, by the way, shocked and slightly saddened, y'all don't want more of Sir Dagonet, the Fool Knight. But, Lenon Shi's on there, so that'll be cool. So, yeah, go ahead and check that out. I can also tell you now ahead of time, guess what? July's theme will absolutely be America. Because I made sure to not undercount and undercook my polls and made sure I have all of my 4 chosen subjects up already. So we'll look forward to that in July. But yes, for June, we've got these 4. Currently, like I said, Black Knight is winning by about 50%, and we'll see what happens. That's our major business. The biz. Which is most of our subject and stuff. And obviously, it's a new month. Consider supporting us on Patreon.
Yeah.
Get the audio. It's good. Yeah, I think the only other thing then to wrap up is to talk about what we will be talking about in future stuff. Obviously, next week, because that banner is supposed to drop, look forward to Wanted Arjuna Altar. I have to script and slam that together this week, and that'll be fun. I'm probably going to say this in the script, but I'm going to have to shout out to the fact that I'm not really big up on my my Hindu epics, because I got to be real, it's been a long time since I've read my own culture's epics. It's been many, many years since I last read the Iliad and the Odyssey and Beowulf. But we'll see what I can gather up, and obviously we'll want to avoid too many spoilers. That said, obviously it being a week with the Lostbelt out, and we already are decently along. Section 4 is almost a quarter way through. It's a fifth of the way through, technically. So hopefully we'll be all done with that by next Friday, and we can throw it out for y'all to actually do our full deep dive. And like I said, the stream is happening the 11th. JP time, so the Lostbelt 6 stream will absolutely have happened already by the time we record our next show. So next show will probably be fucking bonkers.
I will be vibing.
Yeah, we will be vibrating all the way to the YouTube uploads. So get ready, kids. So stay tuned for Wanted. Check out the next show. Check out What's Up, our usually weekly show about stuff. It should be premiering later today, or has already started, because we live stream it by the time you're watching this live to public. And if you missed it, go back and check it out. I will have a lot of things to talk about, I'm sure, because we skipped last week because of scheduling. Other than that, yeah, I mean, that's most of the stuff. We got our regular videos. The AP will be posted by now. I'll slip it out sometime, probably in the middle of the night. The people who know will know. Watch other content, stay forward to streaming, but I think I'll talk more about streaming when we do What's Up. I think that's everything. Any other real life or channel related things we should talk about, Lucky?
Oh, going over my mental checklist. Nope. I think we're good.
I went to rest my elbow on the table and almost missed. That would have been bad.
That would have been a crash in the cutter and a fuck.
Yep. So, no. If Lucky can't think of anything and I can't think of anything, I think we're good here.
I think we are done.
Make sure to, like I said, go watch that new OSP video about Medea, and then go watch Progression Tournament. It came out this week. Yay. I'll show somebody else's channel, and I'll show my channel.
Channel shillin'.
Watch videos. I just backed a Kickstarter, so watch videos, give money. I'll talk about that on What's Up as well. Anyway, it's time to wind down the show. We gotta get out of here. I gotta edit this monster and post it in a timely fashion so I can go back to playing more Life of Ferment Complaining Juice. Something like that. But I have to finish this edit so I can go back to playing Lostbelt 4. Gee, funny how that works.
Funny.
So, let's do the outro. First of all, I would like to remind everybody, if you're watching this video on YouTube, be sure to give it a like if you liked it. You can dislike it too, I don't care. It's fine if you didn't like it. But maybe if you didn't like it, you should let us know in the comments down below, along with things that maybe why you did like it, and lots of other stuff. I have asked you specifically, yes, you, Steve, to respond in the comments about several things, so please do. Comments are very important. You can also join our Discord. Link is, as always, in the video description and on our channel page. There you can yell about spoilers with people in the appropriate spoiler zones, and yell about other things. It's very cool. Discord is cool, guys. Of course, if you're new here and haven't already, please subscribe to our channel. We are constantly battling YouTube's bot filter to reach 3K subs, so please help us out of this hole. I just want it to be over. I don't like seeing it go up by like 10 and then go down by 10 every 2 weeks. It gives me the agita. Help us out. Sub now. Tell your friends to sub now if you're already subbed. Sign up your mother. Sign up your grandma. Sign up your dog. Your dog has a YouTube account, right? Your dog will enjoy our content. So, sub. Even if you're already subbed, considering that bell for notifications, so you always know when we post a new video or when we stream. It's very important to know when we do those things. Hit that bell. Notifications. Get them. Make sure they're set up properly so you do get them. I think only like 20% of our viewers have notifications on, so you should do more. Get more notifications. Know when we post stuff. And to wrap it up, first of all, consider joining our channel memberships. You can get access to emotes, which Lucky is in the process of drawing all the time. Get membership badges. Get cool stuff for us. And of course, like we said at the front of the show, consider supporting us on Patreon. You can get access to videos early in audio format for as little as $1 a month or $10 a year. At higher levels, like at the 5 and up level, you get access to topic polls, like I mentioned earlier. You can decide Fanservant Friday right now with you and the power of your one vote. And also get access to other stuff early as well. Listen to the show live, get on our shoutouts, the whole rigmarole, and it really helps us out. and supports us through getting stuff and things that we need for stuff.
More things.
Like maybe help Lucky pay for a new wheel. And with all that, though, I think it's time we skedaddled on out of here, and we got back to the eternal cycle of death and rebirth. So, yeah. Goodbye, everybody.
Dawn of the final day.